Chapter 1057. Towards Yi Hua's blood-related younger brother, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were very courteous towards him. I didn't expect that Yi Hua would be able to receive so much affection from Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, and they were truly happy for Yi Hua. Big brother, mother is waiting for your news inside, also. Yi Juetian said intermittently. Who else? Yi Hua asked gravely. Sister-in-law is here too. Yi Juetian said in a low voice. In actuality, Chen Yuqing had already come over long ago. Looking at how intimate Yi Hua was with his two wives, Chen Yuqing felt a bit jealous. Why can't you call me over? I can also act coquettishly in your embrace and do the things that you like to do. Hugging onto Chen Yuqing, I can also make other men feel jealous. Yi Hua's expression turned cold as he questioned, What is she doing here? Yi Hua, why are you acting like this? Qingya couldn't help but say. How can you treat a girl like this? Moreover, it is a girl who likes you. You are too heartless. Yi Hua, you weren't like this in the past. Although Donghuang Baiji didn't say anything, she didn't like this heartless version of Yi Hua. This heartless version of Yi Hua was just like how he treated me back then. Big brother, please stop scolding sister-in-law. She is so pitiful. Yi Yuanqing also begged. Sister-in-law was already pitiful enough. She only wanted to be with you. Right now, the four of them were pleading for Chen Yuqing together. However, it was useless. Yi Hua's attitude was still the same as before, seemingly determined to not want Chen Yuqing at all. Facing Yi Hua's stubbornness, everyone could only hope that Yi Hua's mother would be able to speak a sentence of justice. The group walked into Lu Jing's courtyard. At this moment, in the courtyard, Lu Jing and Chen Yuqing were sitting in the pavilion. Chen Yuqing had already changed her clothes. Lu Jing was holding her hands, seemingly comforting her. However, when Chen Yuqing saw that Yi Hua had brought his wife over, she immediately stood up and stood at the side with her head lowered. She was basically the same as Daji beside him. When Qingya and Donghuang Baiji saw Chen Yuqing's actions, they really wanted to teach Yi Hua a lesson. Daji was being respectful, but Chen Yuqing was obviously being scared. Look at what you've done. You actually scared a girl who likes you to this extent. No respect for women at all. If Yi Hua were to know what his two wives were thinking, he would definitely have a good argument with them. When I look for women, you say that I am lecherous. When I don't look for women, you say that I don't respect women. Is this the logic of you women? Lu Jing's eyes lit up when she saw the two girls beside her son. Isn't she the woman in the photo? She was even more beautiful in person than in the photos, and her demeanor was also dignified. This daughter-in-law was very satisfied. From the looks of it, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji could be considered to have passed the first stage. After all, the first impression was very important. Yi Hua walked forward and ignored Chen Yuqing, who was at the side, as he said lightly, Mother, this is Qingya, and this is Donghuang Baiji, both of them are my wives. Chen Yuqing, who was standing at the side, felt a bit uncomfortable. How I wish that Yi Hua would also introduce me like this. If that were the case, I would definitely be happy for a few years. However, the current Yi Hua didn't even bother to look him in the eye. In that case, why did he kill Huang Yun to save him? Chen Yuqing was completely in a mess. I don't know what Yi Hua is thinking. This man's heart is truly like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. I am truly unable to fathom him. Following Yi Hua's introduction, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji walked forward and called out tenderly, Mother. Originally, Yi Hua wanted to call her mother, but when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Ah, good boy. Lu Jing was very happy. She lightly held onto Qingya and Donghuang Baiji's hands, and from the tone of her voice, it could be heard that she was very gentle. Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian, who were standing at the back, looked at their sister-in-law and felt that she was very pitiful, standing all alone at the side. You two have a good chat. I will go and rest first. Yi Hua said faintly. Lu Jing shouted out lightly, Yi Hua, wait a moment, mother has something to say to you. Yi Hua stopped his footsteps. He could clearly feel that his mother wanted to say something. Right now, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji naturally had to stand on Lu Jing's side. Thus, the two women immediately pulled Yi Hua over, and Qingya said, Yi Hua, mother has something to say, sit down. Lu Jing was very satisfied with Qingya's actions. This kind of daughter-in-law can be counted as sensible. Daughter-in-law doesn't like those who are unreasonable. Yi Hua helplessly sat down, then said faintly, Daji, brew a cup of tea. All right. Lu Jing revealed out a gentle smile. You two sit down too, don't just stand there. All right. Mother. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji weren't that nervous anymore. Yihua's mother is indeed easy to talk to. She isn't that kind of formidable mother-in-law. When I just came here, I was already afraid of meeting a formidable mother-in-law. Lu Jing gradually became serious, then said towards Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, Yihua, it has been hard on you two to take care of him all these years. The two women hurriedly replied politely. However, in their hearts they were thinking, not only has it been hard on me, it has also been extremely hard on me. With that temper of his, which woman would be able to endure it? Furthermore, he often lies to you, and if he doesn't act cool for a period of time, he would feel uncomfortable all over his body. He would bring his subordinates and cause all sorts of trouble, just like a child, and yet, he still acts like an adult every single day. Mother's words might have wronged you too, but mother has no choice but to say it. I hope that you two can understand. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji nodded their heads obediently. They knew what Lu Jing wanted to say. However, at this moment, Yihua said gravely, Mother, this matter. However, before Yihua could finish, Donghuang Baiji said in a low voice, Yihua, when mother is speaking, don't interrupt. Yihua, Yi Juetian, Yi Yuanqing, this sister-in-law sure is formidable, to actually dare to teach big brother a lesson. Even Lu Jing has a whole new level of respect for Donghuang Baiji. However, this is also good. There must be a woman who can suppress my son. Qian Yuqing, who was standing at the back, felt very wronged. Yihua, do you really dislike me that much? Right at this moment, Lu Jing said with a pleading tone, Qingya Baiji, mother's request is a bit too much, but I still hope that you two can accept Yuqing. Yuqing has suffered a lot during these few years. Mother can see it with my own eyes, and I dote on her in my heart. Hearing that Lu Jing was speaking up for her, Qian Yuqing tightly pinched onto the corner of her clothes, and she bit onto her lips to the point that her hair turned white. However, at this moment, Yihua spoke again. Mother, this kind of matter cannot be forced. I already have a wife. Yihua, mother is asking us, not you. Please don't speak any more. Qingya said sternly. Right now, there is no place for you to speak. Io, these two women are great. I am afraid that with mother backing you up, you two can be rude to me, right? You two are formidable. I will properly teach you two a lesson in the future. Tears were swirling around in Qian Yuqing's eyes. Yihua is still rejecting me, just what is wrong with me? End of this chapter. Chapter 1058. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji could be seen holding on to Lu Jing's hands. As the big sister, Qingya said first, Mother, we have heard about the matter between Yihua and Qian Yuqing. During this period of time, we have also thought about it. What mother said is right. A man should finish what he started. Since Yihua and Qian Yuqing already had an engagement in the past, it naturally still counts. In the end, we are the ones who interfered with them. Following what Qingya said, Lu Jing liked her more and more. What a sensible daughter-in-law. Her words are so pleasant to hear. Even Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian liked these two sisters-in-law even more. Big brother is really good at finding wives. Qian Yuqing was almost moved to death. I didn't expect that they would actually be so magnanimous. I will definitely treat them well in the future. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji weren't stupid. Although they were a little annoyed at the start, when they heard about Yihua and Qian Yuqing's love history, they couldn't help but feel helpless. They felt like they were in the same boat, and with Lu Jing's attitude, why not push the boat forward? Helping others achieve their goals. After all, this was also a problem left behind by history. However, Yihua's attitude right now was very angry. You two are really good children. It's just that my Yihua is not sensible. Yuqing has done so much for you. Even if your heart is a piece of iron, you should still loosen up a little. Lu Jing said helplessly. Yihua took a deep breath, but still didn't say anything. Qingya laughed. Mother, you don't have to care about him. In the family, we have the final say. Really? Lu Jing's eyes shone. If Qingya has the final say in the family, that would be great. Of course, isn't Yihua like this? Qingya smiled towards Yihua. It seems that if you dare to say the word no, you will be finished. In the future, don't think about using us to act cool. Yihua sighed helplessly, then stood up and said faintly, Up to you. After finished speaking, He walked out of the courtyard. Seeing that Yihua had compromised, Qingya blinked her beautiful eyes mischievously. Mother, I told you, I am definitely right. That is great. Lu Jing also let go of the stone in her heart. Qian Yuqing was also very happy. Let's enter the house first, and Yihua's action just now could be considered as tacit agreement. Yihua's actions just now could be considered as his tacit consent. Qian Yuqing bowed slightly and said sincerely. Without their efforts, she wouldn't even have this tacit agreement. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji walked up and helped Qian Yuqing up. Qian Yuqing is also a woman who was harmed by Yihua. Look at her eyes, she is holding back her tears, seemingly afraid that Yihua will scold her. This Yihua only knows how to bully his own woman. He is truly shameless. Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian were also happy for their sister-in-law. Although their big brother didn't admit it, he had tacitly agreed. This was already a good start. Seeing that the sisters-in-law were sitting together and chatting, the two followed Yihua out of the room and didn't participate in the conversation. He really envied his big brother's luck with women. His 3 sisters-in-law were also outstanding, and he heard that there was still one sister-in-law who wasn't around. Yi Juetian really wanted his big brother to teach him how to pick up girls. How to make a girl fall head over heels for you, just like his sister-in-law, who had fallen head over heels for 1,000 years. Which woman could do this? At least in the entire God's realm, only sister-in-law could do it. Big brother, wait up, don't walk so fast. Yi Yuanqing jogged along the way, and Yi Juetian did the same as well. Yihua slowed down his footsteps and stood beside the fish pond. Then, he picked up the feed at the side and threw some into the fish pond. Very quickly, a school of fish was lured over. Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian stood at the 2 sides of Yihua. In the two's eyes, Big Brother was the most awesome person in the world. Look at his expression, even throwing some feed feels like he is acting cool. Big Brother, why did you suddenly tacitly agree with big sister-in-law? Yi Juetian asked curiously. Towards this question, Yi Yuanqing was also very curious. Could it really be because of the sisters-in-law's persuasion? However, Yihua said faintly, when did I reject them? Hearing Yihua's words, Yi Yuanqing and Yi Juetian went into a daze for a moment, and their mouths opened wide. Then Big Brother, why did you keep rejecting big sister-in-law? Yi Juetian felt that the amount of information he received was rather big. Just what is going on? Yihua said faintly, if I don't reject her, how am I going to create a pitiful woman? The corner of Yi Yuanqing's mouth twitched. So, Big Brother has even schemed against big sister-in-law. Then, why did you create such a situation? Yi Juetian hurriedly asked. Yihua said faintly, you two might not know this, but your sisters-in-law loves to be jealous the most. In the past, she was known as the jealousy king of the cultivation world. If I didn't make them feel that Yuqing is pitiful and take the initiative to push Yuqing over to me, Big Brother, I wouldn't have a good life. After finished speaking, Yihua scattered some feed. That's right. From the very start, I had been scheming against this. Motherfucker, Qian Yuqing is such a beautiful woman, how could I possibly let go of her? Of course, this can only be done after a long period of planning. Therefore, I could only pretend that I didn't care about Qian Yuqing, and furthermore, I had to pretend that I felt very uncomfortable. First, I put on an act in front of Qingya and Donghuang Baiji in the imperial palace, making it seem as if I felt very uncomfortable. Then, I soared into the sky in front of the 2 women's eyes, making it seem as if the knot in my heart had been resolved. In actuality, during those few days, I had been scheming on how to make those 2 women take the initiative to push Qian Yuqing into my embrace. After arriving at God's realm, I ignored Qian Yuqing. Even when I pressed Qian Yuqing onto the bed, I endured it all. The mission that I gave Wei Chang was to definitely make Qingya and Donghuang Baiji come up to me. If they don't come up to me, how would they be able to hear about Qian Yuqing's tragic incident? This was all thanks to the Emperor's assistance. Afterward, I had to put on an act in front of Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, making them think back to how I was back then. At that time, I would definitely have a feeling that my heart is in sync with mine, and they would definitely pity Qian Yuqing. In the end, everything went according to what I had planned. Therefore, in order to give Qingya and Donghuang Baiji a proper reason to come up to me, I had simply gone in a big circle. Therefore, from the very start, My plan was to get the beautiful woman Qian Yuqing. As for the rest, those are just collateral damage. After all, my personality of liking super beautiful women hasn't changed. Ha ha ha. I am still as outstanding as ever. I want to keep a low profile, but my strength doesn't allow me to do so. Furthermore, by doing this, Qian Yuqing will become a super obedient woman. Because she will be afraid of me getting angry, no matter how excessive my request is, I will still agree to it. Thinking about it, this is indeed a bit exciting. This kind of secret matter, I naturally won't tell Qian Yuqing about it. Right now, my skill in deceiving people is truly becoming more and more superb. Everyone who doesn't know about it might even think that I am targeting the emperor. Am I that bored? If it wasn't for me wanting everything to become a matter of course, I wouldn't have done these boring things. End of this chapter. Chapter 1059. I already can't wait to see Qian Yuqing lying on the bed. I didn't even play enough with her that day. It's a pity. If Qingya and Donghuang Baiji knew the truth, they would definitely vomit blood from anger. Back then, Qing Yutong was also messed up like this, but that time, it was an accident and not arranged by Yi Hua. This time, it was a proper arrangement. Everything was as it should be, and there was not the slightest flaw. Meticulous. Yi Juetian and Yi Yuanqing looked at their big brother blankly. This confident look of his. He even deceived his own wife. My God, he is simply too outstanding. I have to mourn for sister-in-law for a minute in my heart. Big brother has really changed. He has become too shrewd. Big brother, did you start planning from the moment I appeared? Yi Juetian muttered. Yi Hua said indifferently, more or less if I didn't chase you away, why would you tell Yuqing about it? Yuqing wouldn't have come down, and she wouldn't have stood at the entrance of the palace for a few days and nights. Big brother, sister-in-law standing at the entrance of the palace was all for sister-in-law and the others to see, right? Yi Yuanqing asked blankly. That's natural. Women all have the feeling of being in the same boat. If Big Brother isn't a bit more ruthless, how can I have a good life? Although Yi Hua didn't have a complacent expression on his face, his heart was very inflated. In terms of deceiving a wife, if I dare to say that I am number 2, no one would dare to say that they are number 1. Big brother, you are still the awesome one. Yi Juetian raised his thumb, truly admiring Yi Hua. Big brother, something isn't right. Why is the royal family involved in this matter? Why is there a risk? Yi Yuanqing asked curiously. Yi Hua let out a deep sigh, then said indifferently, a woman has to like the current you, not the past you, understand? Big brother is only doing this so that the current me will be deeply engraved in her heart, and not the past me. Today's wedding ceremony is the finale, and your sister-in-law has already been deeply captured by me. Yi Hua said lightly. It wasn't easy to achieve what he had today. If I accepted Qian Yuqing from the start, then in her heart, I would still be the past me. Although they were both the Supreme Overlord, it still made the Supreme Overlord unhappy. The Supreme Overlord's woman only thought of the Supreme Overlord in her heart, while all other men were directly crushed into pieces. However, there was still an important problem. Qian Yuqing's father was his enemy. Marrying the daughter of the enemy before taking revenge was indeed a straightforward way of doing things. I, the Supreme Overlord, still haven't thought of a good way to deal with this matter. Therefore, I will first collect some interest. There shouldn't be anything wrong with a daughter paying a father's debt, right? I'll have to trouble Lady Yuqing in the future. My bed is quite comfortable, but it's not that easy to climb onto. I suddenly realized that men are so scary. Yi Yuanqing shuddered. Big brother could have brought the beauty home, but he took such a roundabout way just to make everything reasonable. His scalp went numb. Meanwhile, Yi Juetian's eyes shone with golden light. Big brother, you are my blood-related big brother. I will leave my little brother's happy life in your hands. Yi Hua patted onto his little brother's shoulder. Don't worry, with big brother and a bunch of extras around, no matter how arrogant a woman is, I will still be able to get my hands on her. Furthermore, I will love her to the point that you will not be able to let go of her. Big brother. My big brother. Yi Juetian was so excited that he immediately hugged onto Yi Hua. This feels great. In the future, I am going to marry 7 to 8 women, and every single one of them will love me to death. This feels great. All right, Only the two of you know about this matter, so don't speak about it. Understood. Yi Yuanqing pouted his mouth. Big brother is so bad. However, overall, this big brother is much more interesting than the previous big brother. I plan to bring my mother down tomorrow. Juetian, do you want to come along? Yi Hua asked. Of course, I will have a bright future if I follow big brother. Yi Juetian raised both of his hands in approval. What fun is there in this place? Only by following big brother will it be interesting. Big brother still has to find me a wife. Yi Hua nodded his head, then looked towards Yi Yuanqing. Yi Yuanqing lightly bit onto his lips, then said, Big brother, I will come and visit you in the future, all right? Looking at his little sister's wronged look, Yi Hua patted onto Yi Yuanqing's head. Don't worry, big brother will always welcome you. Take this. Yi Hua took out a bell and passed it to Yi Yuanqing. Big brother, what is this? This is a good thing. If there is danger, ring the bell. When the time comes, there will be a surprise. Yi Hua naturally had to give his little sister a guarantee. After all, he had already fallen out with the royal family. If the emperor didn't die, he would definitely think of ways to harm his little sister. Even if he didn't harm her now, he would still harm her in the future. This was just a matter of time. Yi Yuanqing obediently kept the bell. Thank you, big brother. If you are free, come and find big brother to play. I am going to rest, Yi Hua said faintly. He placed down the feed in his hands, then turned around and walked towards his own room. Yi Yuanqing looked at his big brother's back view and felt a bit sad in his heart. If only big brother could stay behind and revive Yi family. I am not as powerful as big brother, so I definitely wouldn't be able to do it. Second sister, you will definitely be able to do it, Yi Juetian said sincerely at the side. He naturally knew what his second sister was thinking about. His second sister had always wanted to surpass his big brother, but looking at his big brother's recent performance, it was completely impossible for her to surpass his big brother. Putting aside his strength, just his meticulousness in thinking was completely incomparable. He was even more shrewd than a woman. Yi Yuanqing let out a light sigh. Yi Hua, who returned to his room, was indeed a bit tired. I have finally finished my last task today, and I am a bit tired. Recently, I have also killed a lot of my brain cells, but in the end, my plan still succeeded. I am getting more and more proficient in this scheme of mine. Who am I going to look for next time to lie to? Lie to them to the point that they wouldn't even know how they died. This way of playing with people's hearts is indeed rather terrifying. Tisk. Gradually, Yi Hua fell asleep. Not knowing how long Yi Hua slept for, Yi Hua felt that his nose was a bit itchy. These two women, just how old are they already? To think that they are still treating me as a little girl. Yi Hua opened his eyes, and Qingya, who was sitting at the bedside, was currently using her beautiful hair to brush against Yi Hua's nose. Look, if I, the Supreme Overlord, had said that I am going to take Qian Yuqing as my wife back then, would they still have this kind of expression? What are you doing? Yi Hua said in a deep voice with a bit of a temper. Both his expression and his acting were on point. Right now, he was just like a professional actor. Donghuang Baiji held onto Yi Hua's big hand and said cutely, Aya master, don't be angry, it's just a small matter. I found you a beautiful wife, and you are still unhappy about it. That's right. Didn't Yutong just go out just now? It just so happens that she can replace Yutong's position. Tang Baobao glared at Donghuang Baiji and Donghuang Baiji. Is this a matter of replacing Yutong's position? I say, is there something wrong with the two of you? In the past, you didn't allow me to look at other women, and when I look at other women, I would get jealous. And right now, you even took the initiative to find a wife for me. What, do you not want to serve me anymore? End of this chapter. Chapter 1060. Hubby, the two lovely wives shouted sweetly. It was really too tiresome. Look at this. What do you mean by wife discipline? I found a concubine, and I still have to make them beg me. How comfortable is this? Women, don't think that I will have to find another woman just because you coax me. Don't even think about it in the future. Yi Hua said petulantly. All right, in the future, we will be obedient and serve you, master. All right, let's go and eat. Today, your new wife is cooking personally. Give her some face and praise her a few more times. Qingya said tenderly. Even Qian Yuqing is so pitiful, I can't bear to see her like this. Yihua snorted coldly. Hee hee. Please, hubby. Donghuang Baiji immediately began acting cute. Donghuang Baiji clenched her fist and placed it on her mouth, looking extremely cute. To be able to make the Empress do such an action, it means that she is truly sincere. Yihua pretended to remain silent for a long time, then said, For the sake of the two of you, I won't say anything later on, okay? Aya, just say one sentence. Qingya begged bitterly. Why does Yihua look down on Qian Yuqing so much? This is too strange. Qian Yuqing is so good-looking, so gentle and considerate. She is the goddess that men yearn for even in their dreams. Donghuang Baiji said tenderly, That's right, just say that this dish is not bad, I beg of you. Yihua laughed loudly in his heart. These two wives of mine are simply too pure and silly. With the two of them around, it is truly great. Yihua lightly hugged Qingya and Donghuang Baiji into his embrace. These two women are my true loves in this life. After cuddling for quite a while. Master, let me help you change your clothes. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji said tenderly. With a smile on his face, Yihua stood up and spread out both of his arms, completely not moving. Being served by his two wives, life should be like this. I must have obedient wives, and if I were to marry disobedient wives, what's the point of marrying them? Of course, if I want my wife to be obedient, I need to be strong enough and be able to suppress them. Yo, I didn't expect that our Yihua's dressing is so delicate, so handsome. Yeah, this long hair really matches. And this robe, it looks so cold. I like it. The Empress seemed to like Yihua's cold and aloof appearance. Forget about the mischievous Yihua, that Yihua is definitely fake. Qingya laughed tenderly. Hee hee, I also like Yihua's cold and aloof look. At times like this, he would reveal a little bit of a smile from time to time, and it's simply mesmerizing. Yihua said gravely, Two love-struck fools, have you never seen a man before? How frivolous. After saying that, he took the lead and walked out, but the corners of his mouth curved up subtly. TSK, he's just praising him. He's so full of himself. You're snickering. Don't you know him? He's someone who wants to save face no matter what. Donghuang Baiji covered her mouth and laughed. Sometimes, Yihua is just this charming. That's right, he wants to save face. The two women laughed, then caught up to Yihua who was walking in front of them. One on the left and the other on the right, the two women held each other's arms, looking very blissful. However, if the two women were to find out the truth, they definitely wouldn't have this expression on their faces right now. They would definitely have a cold war, and they might even want a divorce. The three walked into Lu Jing's courtyard. The lights in the courtyard were still lit, and Qian Yuqing could be seen walking into the courtyard while carrying the dishes. Then, she hurriedly walked out of the courtyard while carrying the dishes, and in the next moment, she appeared while carrying the dishes. Look at Yuqing. Then look at the two of you. You two are truly getting lazier and lazier. Look at Yuqing, she's so virtuous. You have profited from her. Qingya persuaded earnestly. That's right, that's right. She even has a look of unwillingness on her face. Donghuang Baiji pouted her mouth. Yihua couldn't help but want to say, You two are truly getting more and more arrogant. I, the Supreme Overlord, have spoiled you too. Yuqing is definitely not spoiled anymore. The three walked out of the courtyard, and they just happened to see Qian Yuqing walking out of the courtyard and preparing to carry the dishes. Looking at Yihua's appearance, Qian Yuqing immediately lowered her head and stood at the side, seemingly afraid that Yihua would blame her or scold her. When Yihua saw this, he felt that he might have scolded Qian Yuqing too much and caused her to have a shadow in her heart. To think that Qian Yuqing would be scared to this extent after seeing me walking over. However, Yihua immediately felt a pain coming from his waist. These two women, I, the Supreme Overlord, am truly speechless. Let us help you carry the dishes. Qingya said tenderly. In her heart, she was blaming Yihua. Why did you scare Yuqingya to this extent? Look at how much Yuqingya is afraid of you. You two are truly pitiful. Qian Yuqing hurriedly said, No need, no need, there are only a few dishes left. You two go in first. I will bring the dishes over immediately. After finished speaking, Qian Yuqing ran into the kitchen. Yihua turned a goddess from the god's realm into an obedient maid. He truly isn't simple. When a man subdues a so-called goddess, That sense of superiority would definitely be great. Just like how Yihua was feeling right now. 2 words. Exciting. Walking into the kitchen, various kinds of delicacies were placed on the table. It could clearly be seen that these delicacies were prepared by Qian Yuqing meticulously. You are here, quickly sit. Lu Jing smiled tenderly. Right now, our family is reunited. This feels great. The 3 sat down. At this moment, Qian Yuqing carried the last dish over, then stood at the side, not daring to sit. Meanwhile, Lu Jing looked at her son, seemingly wanting her son to speak. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji didn't speak, but their delicate hands were already pinching onto Yihua's waist. Speak, idiot. The 2 of you, let go of me, idiot. It won't hurt. Qian Yuqing stood at the side pitifully with her head slightly lowered and even biting onto her lips. Her heart was already filled with grievance to the limit, and tears were already swirling in her eyes. Sit. Yihua, who was the head of the family, finally spoke. Qian Yuqing even felt that she was hallucinating. Just now, Yihua actually told me to sit. Is this real? When everyone saw Qian Yuqing's dazed look, they felt truly helpless. Just how much does one have to like her? Yuqing, quickly sit. Qingya said tenderly, then stood up and pressed Qian Yuqing onto her chair, then sat at the side. Qian Yuqing didn't react for a moment, then hurriedly stood up. Qingya, you sit here, I will sit at the side. It's fine, sit. Qingya said tenderly, then directly sat down. Yuqing, sit. It's fine. Lu Jing said tenderly. These 2 daughters-in-law of mine are very sensible, and I am also happy for my son. Only after her mother spoke did Qian Yuqing finally feel at ease. It's just that, it's been a long time since I sat beside Yihua, and I feel very uneasy and nervous, to the point where I don't even know how to speak. Sorry, I came late. Yi Juetian could be seen running over in a hurry, then casually sat down on the chair. However, after sitting down, Yi Juetian felt that the atmosphere wasn't right. After taking a look at everyone, Yi Juetian chose to lower his head and remain silent. How old are you already? Yet you are still so impulsive. Lu Jing said lightly. If only this youngest son of mine is half as successful as my eldest son, it would be great. End of chapter. Chapter 1061. Yi Juetian felt helpless. As expected, the moment Big Brother came back, he started lecturing me. In the past, when Big Brother was still around, he would often lecture me like this too. Daji, you sit as well. Yihua said faintly. Daji, who was standing beside Lu Jing, was actually a bit gloomy. Master has a new wife again, but I still don't have a share. I feel so sad I feel like crying. No need, I'll just stand, Daji said with a little temper. However, when Yihua glared at her, the latter immediately sat down in fright. Lu Jing shook her head. This Yihua, shouldn't he be gentler to girls? He glares at me for no reason. All right, our family is finally reunited. Let's eat. Lu Jing was rather happy today. I haven't been this happy for a long time. Yi Juetian immediately started eating. Sister-in-law, the dishes that you made are so delicious, so fragrant. Then Juetian, you should eat more. Qian Yuqing said softly. In actuality, she wanted to hear Yihua say this sentence more. At this moment, Donghuang Baiji coughed lightly, seemingly reminding Yihua to speak. Qingya followed closely behind her. Sisters-in-law, are you coughing? Yi Juetian, who didn't know what was going on, asked honestly. Yihua felt that he should praise Qian Yuqing. Even if she was acting, she shouldn't make others too sad. The dishes are pretty good. Yihua said faintly. When Lu Jing heard her son's words, a smile appeared on her face. This is a sign of loosening up. Yuqing will also be happy in the future. Qian Yuqing naturally heard it too. She was very happy in her heart, and all of the unhappiness in her heart disappeared. Actually, women are quite simple. They just want to hear the man they like praise them and say some sweet words. Love needs to be expressed. If you don't express it, who would know? Yihua, eat more. If it's not enough, I will make more for you. Just now, Qian Yuqing didn't dare to pick up any food for Yihua as she was afraid of being scolded. But now she picked up the food with all her might, wishing that she could give the best food to Yihua. All right, that's enough. Yihua said softly. This sentence was like a bucket of cold water, extinguishing Qian Yuqing's enthusiasm. Yihua is despising me again. Right now, Qian Yuqing seemed to be in the midst of being passionately in love with Yihua, and she would have a kind of feeling of worrying about personal gains and losses. Both Qingya and Donghuang Baizhi had been through this kind of situation before, and right now they were already an old couple. Mother, let us go down together tomorrow, Yihua said calmly. Of course, Lu Jing knew that her son would leave after finishing his business. Yes, but you must take Yuqing with you. Otherwise I won't leave. Yes, Yihua said faintly. Didn't I, the Supreme Overlord, do all these things just so that I can bring Qian Yuqing back? Qian Yuqing, who was gloomy just a moment ago, immediately became happy again. Qian Yuqing felt that she was going to go crazy. Just a casual sentence from Yihua is able to make me feel happy to death, or at the same time, make me feel sad to death. Yihua, you have to worry about your younger brother's matters too. He's not young anymore. It's about time for him to have a family. Yi Juetian rolled his eyes and said, Mother, I am still young. You're still young. He's already more than 1,000 years old. Other men who are more than 1,000 years old have children that are already hundreds of years old. Lu Jing's words made the other wives laugh. Their mother was quite humorous. Mother, I will take note of my younger brother's matters, Yihua said gravely. After all, Yihua is my blood-related younger brother. When it comes to finding a woman, I mustn't act recklessly. At the very least, my Yi family's door must reach an outstanding standard. Lu Jing let out a breath. Yihua is still the sensible one. This youngest son of mine can only hope that he will be more sensible after he gets married. Yihua, where are those little grandchildren of mine? When are you going to bring Mother to take a look at them? Right now, Lu Jing was able to see her daughter-in-law, but right now, she wanted to see her grandchildren as well. Those pictures all look so cute. Yihua immediately felt that something was wrong. Mother, Yihua even dared to chase away your little grandchildren. Qingya immediately acted pitiful. It must be said, everyone in this house is a drama queen. Donghuang Baizhi was the same as well. That's right, Mother. Yihua threw the children out and said that they will only be allowed to return after they become adults. We might not be able to see the children for more than 10 years. How old are they? Yihua, what's going on? This was the first time that Lu Jing heard such a thing, and she immediately asked her son. Qian Yuqing was also very curious. Why would Yihua chase the children away? This is too heartless, isn't it? Yi Juetian was the same as well. No matter what, I am already an uncle now. Mother, don't listen to their nonsense. The children only went out to study. Yihua explained. However, Qingya was still very conflicted about this problem. Even so, we still have to let them come back to take a look at us. Qingya was unwilling to accept this. Yihua's expression became stiff, and his tone became a bit higher. Back then, the two of you have already agreed to it, so don't bring it up anymore. Lu Jing was a bit confused. Why is Yihua's temper so bad, scolding his wife just because of a slight disagreement? Yihua, it is normal for a mother to miss her children. There is no need to speak so harshly, Lu Jing said attentively, comforting Qingya. Qian Yuqing also wanted to say something for Qingya, but she didn't dare to, as she was afraid that Yihua would scold her as well. Yihua let out a breath and didn't say anything else. These two women just had to come and anger me, to say this matter in front of my mother. Do you think that I, the Supreme Overlord, will compromise just because of this? Don't even think about disciplining your children. Was there any lack of stories about a doting mother causing a wastrel? Just look at Yi Juetian. If Yi Juetian knew what his big brother was thinking about, he would definitely be dumbstruck. What does this have to do with me? I really didn't say anything, and yet, I still have to get implicated. Qingya and Donghuang Baizhi felt wronged in their hearts. What's wrong with a mother looking at her child? What law did he break? You are already allowed to find a new wife, and you are also given such a big benefit. Shouldn't you be giving us some benefit? Humph. This is also because I am looking after my mother. If not, I would have definitely made a fuss with you. This meal ended under this strange atmosphere. After Yihua finished eating, he stood up and said faintly, Mother, I will be returning to my room first. You should rest early. All right. Yihua didn't care about the others and left first. As his daughter-in-law, Yi Juetian naturally had to clear the table. And so, Yi Juetian secretly ran away. I am going to go far away tomorrow. I am so excited, so excited. Mother, I will be returning first then. Qian Yuqing said obediently. All right, be careful on your way back. And Qingya Baiji, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. After Qian Yuqing left, Lu Jing began comforting her two daughters-in-law. Lu Jing scolded Yi Hua in all sorts of ways and let her daughters-in-law calm down. Needless to say, it was quite effective. Right now, Yi Hua didn't go to rest, and instead, he was sitting in the pavilion in the courtyard and smoking. Mother's illness isn't big, but it isn't small either. I have also taken a look at the spiritual spring, and while it is indeed able to slow down the illness, it is not able to completely get rid of the illness. End of this chapter. Chapter 1062. This disease was truly rare. When the time came, Xiaofan would have Absolute Heaven take a look at it. If Absolute Heaven was able to find Qing Su, he should be able to do something about it. After all, Qing Su was an expert in this field. The Qing Su that Yi Hua was thinking about was precisely one of the remaining 7 sins. Qing Su was a very arrogant and very virtuous person, and he had an appearance of, I'm the boss. Yi Hua felt that this fellow was going to establish his own sect. I remember the first time we met, this fellow was selling fake medicine and was nearly beaten to death by someone. If it wasn't for me saving him, he would definitely be dead. However, as one of the 7 deadly sins, Qing Su naturally had his own unique skill, which was quite interesting. As for the last one, Yi Hua took a deep breath. This one is a bit tricky to deal with because his jealousy is too strong, and he is also the most disobedient one. This time, I have to properly teach him a lesson. Just as Yi Hua was thinking, 2 beautiful figures walked into the courtyard, and without saying anything, they entered the house. These 2 women even threw a tantrum. Back then they had already agreed on it, and now that I'm using this supreme overlord to look for a new wife, they actually threw a tantrum. His ego was extremely inflated. Yi Hua extinguished the cigarette butt and walked into the house. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji could be seen taking off their clothes and preparing to sleep. Since they were already an old couple, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji were not shy at all. Just like that, they took off all of their clothes, then burrowed into the quilt and did not say a single word. Their meaning was clear. You've angered us, so why aren't you pacifying us? Hurry up. You want me, the Supreme Overlord, to coax you all? Hee hee. That is impossible. Where will I sleep? Yi Hua said gravely. The bed wasn't big to begin with, so it was a little crowded for 3 people to sleep on. You can sleep wherever you want to sleep. Qingya snorted. To actually say such words, are you trying to anger us to death? Go and sleep on the floor. Yi Hua didn't give face at all and actually told his wife to sleep on the floor. Donghuang Baiji chuckled. You can sleep on the floor by yourself, we are going to sleep on the bed. F***ck, you guys are too arrogant. With just this kind of attitude, I, the Supreme Overlord, will smack your butts into mush at any moment. After sitting down for a while, Yi Hua took off his clothes, then sat on the side of the bed. Go and sleep inside a bit. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji hugged each other, completely ignoring Donghuang Baiji. Too arrogant. Yi Hua directly squeezed his way in. Yi Hua, what are you doing? Where are you trying to squeeze us to? Qingya said tenderly. This shameless man is actually throwing a tantrum. Bastard, I am already sticking to the side. Donghuang Baiji was sleeping at the innermost part of the room, and right now, she was about to squeeze onto the wall. It has nothing to do with me. Yi Hua was very arrogant. To think that it is reasonable for me to forcibly occupy my bed. You! Bully! Damn it, just who is bullying who? I, the Supreme Overlord, have wasted so many brain cells for you all's feelings. Ah, how much conscience do I have? You're still holding on to the children's matter. However, squeezing his wife was indeed a little too much. Thus, Yi Hua directly sat in the middle and hugged onto his 2 wives. This way he felt much more comfortable. However, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji still had angry looks on their faces. If you didn't coax them back then, what are you trying to do now? Alright, the children are living very well right now, and time is passing by very quickly as well. We will be able to see the children very soon. Yihua said lightly. Of course, Yihua knew that the girls were missing the children, and I, the Supreme Overlord, was also missing the children as well. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji lightly bit onto their lips, then lightly snuggled into Yihua's embrace. Yihua caressed onto his wife's hair, then kissed onto their forehead. Go to sleep, we will go back together tomorrow. To be able to make Yihua lower his status and coax people, unless he really did something wrong, it was already very good for him to be able to speak properly with his wife right now. At this moment, in Chen family, Chen Yuqing was very happy. She was currently packing up her things, as she was going to return home with Yihua tomorrow. After waiting for over 1,000 years, this day is finally here. I am so excited, dong, dong, dong. Yuqing, are you asleep? Chen Yi's voice rang out from outside the door. Chen Yuqing naturally knew why her father came over, thus she opened the door and asked, Father, what's the matter? Chen Yi already knew about what happened today. At the same time, she was also very astonished and shocked. Her daughter nearly died in the hands of the groom. If that really happened, then her daughter would really be in so much pain that she would rather die. However, Yihua was indeed someone who made people look at him in a whole new light. He was much more shrewd than before, and he was able to completely suppress the emperor. Yuqing, are you preparing to go? Looking at her daughter's clothes that were placed on the chair, Chen Yi asked curiously. Chen Yuqing pursed her lips and did not say anything. Chen Yi let out a deep sigh. Are you preparing to go with Yihua? Chen Yuqing nodded her head. I have been waiting for this day for far too long. Live well, don't worry about father. Chen Yi had also clearly seen that compared to Huang Yun, Yihua was much better. If it wasn't for Yihua today, her daughter might have already died. Chen Yuqing thought that her father would come over to persuade her, but she didn't expect that it would actually be like this. Father, don't worry, when I have time, I will come back to visit you. Chen Yuqing held onto her father's hands that were filled with wrinkles and said reluctantly. Sparkling and translucent tears condensed out from her beautiful eyes. Chen Yi laughed lightly. Silly child, what are you crying for? Haven't you been waiting for this day all along? Father. Chen Yuqing threw herself into her father's embrace and cried bitterly. This time, she was even sadder than when she got married. After all, back then, she was only married into Yi family that was a few streets away from her. However, this time it was different. They were basically not on the same plane. Chen Yi's eyes were also a bit red. She lightly stroked her daughter's back. All right, how old are you already? Why are you still crying like this? Don't let others see you as a joke. I'm not afraid of other people laughing at me. Chen Yi laughed and did not say anything. In actuality, there was already a rumor going around in Lingdu. Everyone was saying that Chen Yuqing was fated to bring bad luck to her husband. Back then she brought bad luck to Yihua, and today, she brought bad luck to Huang Yun. There were even people saying that a woman who had been married twice would not be able to get married, which represented misfortune. Chen Yi didn't wish for her daughter to hear these rumors. It was good for her to follow Yihua. It would save her from worrying. Yuqing, if you are unhappy, then come back. You will always be father's good daughter. This was Chen Yi's final instruction. Thank you, father. All right, rest early. Chen Yi stretched out her hand and wiped away her daughter's tears. She couldn't bear to see her daughter like this. Chen Yuqing nodded her head. Looking at her father leaving, that back view of her father seemed a bit lonely. Right now, inside the imperial palace, Huang Feidi was kneeling in front of a memorial tablet. In actuality, ever since he returned, he had been kneeling in front of the memorial tablet, seemingly pleading for something. This was a very well-hidden secret door. Seemingly, no one knew about it. And on the memorial tablet, Dong Huanghao's name was actually engraved. Huang Feidi waited silently, and his mind was filled with the scene of Yihua hounding his son to death. This damnable Yihua, he will die a horrible death. I will grind your bones and scatter your ashes. I will behead your entire family and hang them at the city gate until your bones turn into ashes. End of this chapter. Chapter 1063. Now it was his son's corpse. No one went to collect the corpses. He had been expelled from the royal family, and he had killed his brother. Who would go and collect the corpse of such a person? They would even spit on him and step on him a few times. Huang Feidi, who was kneeling on the ground, clenched his fists tightly. Yi Hua is definitely going to die. At this moment, Huang Feidi suddenly sensed someone standing in front of him. His heart leaped with joy. Without saying anything, he kowtowed 3 times before respectfully shouting, "Old ancestor." That's right. The surname Dong Huang was actually Huang Feidi's real surname. However, he didn't have the qualifications yet, so he only had the word Huang in his name. When he was strong enough, he would be able to recover his surname. This was also the greatest secret of the imperial family. This was also the biggest secret of the god's realm. No one knew about it, only the past emperors knew about it. This was also a common form of address. As long as one's surname was Dong Huang, Huang Feidi would address him this way. What happened? The man standing in front of Huang Feidi slowly asked. His voice sounded quite young and didn't sound like that of an old man. However, his voice sounded a little neutral. Old ancestor, you must uphold justice for the younger generation. Huang Feidi fiercely knocked his head on the ground. His banging sounds resounded in the secret chamber, causing one's heart to throb. The man slowly walked to the side and sat down. He gently rubbed the table with his fingers and asked, "Tell me." Huang Feidi slowly stood up and respectfully walked in front of the man. Then, he cast a sidelong glance at him. This old ancestor was so weird. The man looked at Huang Feidi, who hurriedly lowered his head. If Qing Yutong was here, she would definitely recognize the old ancestor, Huang Feidi. Wasn't this the Ing Kongsher who had his wick destroyed back then? That's right. The one sitting in front of Huang Feidi was none other than Ing Kongsher himself. However, Ing Kongsher was no longer called Ing Kongsher, but Dong Huang Ing. Ing Kongsher had already offered his soul, but he still had an unfulfilled wish in his heart. That was Dong Huang Baiji. Because Dong Huang Ing was the man who was going to marry the empress. For this goal, he did not hesitate to sell his soul. However, it had to be said that Ing Kongsher's luck was quite good. Back then, he was looked down upon by everyone in the Ing family. But what about now? The emperor of the god's realm had to kneel in front of him and call him ancestor. This sense of superiority made the Eastern emperor feel very good. They felt that they would marry the empress sooner or later and serve the empress. Ancestor, just today, someone forced my son to death, bringing shame to the Dong Huang family. Huang Feidi said in grief and indignation. Now that things have come to this, only by having the old ancestor appear would we be able to kill that bastard Yi Hua. Dong Huang Ing didn't have much of a reaction after hearing it. He asked indifferently, "Oh, is there such a thing? Who is this person?" "He is called Yi Hua." Hearing this familiar name, Dong Huang Ing was moved. Back then, it was this man who stopped me from marrying the empress. That damned man, he definitely had to snatch the empress back. And then marry Dong Huang Baiji. However, Dong Huang Ing didn't know if the Yi Hua that Huang Feidi was talking about was the same person. So he suddenly took out a photo. "Is it this person?" Dong Huang Ing asked in a deep voice. Huang Feidi raised his head slightly and took a look. Even if it turned into air, this emperor would still recognize it. "Yes, that's him." Dong Huang Ing kept the photo properly. "I didn't expect this. We meet again so soon. Yi Hua, return my empress back to me." "I understand. I will make arrangements for this matter." "Thank you, old ancestor." When Huang Feidi raised his head again, the old ancestor in front of him had already disappeared. Slightly letting out a breath of relief, Huang Feidi straightened his back. "Those who dare to go against me shall all die. At that time, I will bathe spirit capital in blood." Meanwhile, within a misty land, Dong Huang Ing appeared outside of a room. The surroundings were hazy, giving off a kind of illusory feeling, making it hard to differentiate between what was real and what was fake. "Master," Dong Huang Ing shouted out respectfully. "How is it?" Dong Huang Ing said honestly, "Huang Feidi wants to use the Dong Huang surname." From the looks of it, Dong Huang Ing didn't intend to tell the truth, because in Dong Huang Ying's heart, Yi Hua is a man that I want to kill, and I can't allow others to kill Yi Hua. Dong Huang Baiji is also a woman that I want to marry. Furthermore, from the looks of it, Dong Huang Baiji and this Dong Huang Ing have some sort of relationship, but I'm not sure yet. You only know how to daydream. Pay less attention to him in the future. A displeased voice rang out from the room. Yes, master. Dong Huang Ying replied respectfully. I heard that Meng Yao is currently facing her tribulation, and if she succeeds, she will become the first female god. Go and prepare a congratulatory gift. Yes, master. You can leave now. Yes. Dong Huang Ying left respectfully, then went to prepare a congratulatory gift. Of course, there was also a plan to kill Yi Hua, and then marry the empress in a grand manner. That would be such a beautiful day. I am truly looking forward to that day. Yi family. Today, Yi Hua woke up very early. His two wives who were on the bed were still sleeping in. Towards Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, Yi Hua sighed. In the past, I never slept in, but now, I have learned to sleep in. Sometimes, I would even sleep until noon before waking up. I don't even care about breakfast. Fortunately, I brought along a blood demon with me back then. If not, I would have starved to death here. However, right now I have a good idea. Qingya, Baiji. Mother doesn't really like daughters-in-law sleeping in. Yi Hua, who had already finished washing up, said faintly. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, who were on the bed, could be seen opening their beautiful eyes. Suddenly, they recalled that I have a mother-in-law now as well. Yi Hua, why didn't you say so earlier? That's right. It's over. We didn't even go and greet our mother-in-law or anything. You guys should have such a custom, right? Donghuang Baiji said anxiously. Qingya nodded her head. That's for sure. As daughters-in-law, after waking up in the morning, I definitely have to go and greet my mother-in-law. That's how it is played in movies. Yi Hua stood at the side and didn't say anything. I really don't know if there is such a custom or not, but if there is, I have to get rid of this lazy habit of mine. Yi Hua, passed the clothes to us. What are you still standing there for? Qingya, who was sitting on the bed, shouted out. Yi Hua shook his head. The two of you are becoming more and more undignified. Donghuang Baiji snorted. We are already an old couple, it's not like we haven't seen each other before. It seems like I have to deal with two female hooligans. After everything was settled, the three walked out of the room. Yi Hua didn't feel like staying here. Even though he had slept here for a few days, he still felt that this place was very unfamiliar. Yi Hua, are we really not going to greet your father? Qingya asked softly. Hearing that, Yi Hua said faintly, There's no need. All right, seems like there is a conflict between this father and son. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji still don't know that the moment Yi Hua came over, he violently beat up his own father. The two women didn't question Yi Hua's decision to go. They understood Yi Hua's temper very well, and the things that Yi Hua said were very hard to change. Chapter 1064. Walking into his mother's courtyard, he saw Qian Yuqing at a glance. The well-behaved and sensible Qian Yuqing came over early in the morning. She seemed to be learning how to make tea from Daji, looking like a good wife and loving mother. Lu Jing sat at the side and watched with a smile. Now was the time to enjoy the happiness of a family. Mother! Yi Hua walked into the room and called out lightly. Right now, he was getting more and more fluent in calling out his mother's name. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji greeted respectfully as well. Seeing that Yi Hua had arrived, Qian Yuqing hurriedly stood up and obediently sat down. Yi Hua was very satisfied with Qian Yuqing's attitude. As a wife, one must have this kind of awareness. Look at these two, they are not even afraid of me right now. What about Zhu Tian? Yi Hua asked lightly. Big brother, I'm here. Yi Juetian could be seen running over while carrying a huge bag on his back. From Yi Hua's perspective, Yi Juetian looked just like he was rushing for the spring festival. Yi Hua paused for a moment, then asked, Don't you have a storage ring? Aya, this is more like moving. Don't you think so, sisters-in-law? Yi Juetian grinned. Towards this blood-related younger brother of Yi Hua's, the few women could be said to have a good impression of him. If Yi Hua was a silent gourd, then Yi Juetian would be a happy person. Yi Hua was helpless. In the future, I have to properly discipline this little brother of mine. Mother, let's head down now. Yi Hua said faintly. All right, let's go. Mother also wants to go out for a walk. It's been a long time since I left this courtyard, said Lu Jing with a gentle smile. In the past few days, Lu Jing's complexion had improved a lot. If she used to look like a 60-year-old person, She now looked like a 40-year-old, radiant and radiant. Yihua nodded his head and slowly raised his hand. With a bang and a snap of fingers, the people in the courtyard disappeared in an instant. It must be said that snapping his fingers was Yihua's favorite gesture. It was too sensational. However, not long after Yihua left, Yishan slowly walked into the courtyard. Looking at the empty courtyard, Yishan let out a light sigh and closed the door. His originally straight back bent slightly. Yi Yuanqing also felt that his big brother had left. He had a smile on his face. After he was done with his business, he would go and see his big brother. His big brother was the emperor down there, so he was also a little princess. Haha, how interesting. Wuxia Empire. This day was no different from usual. It was still bustling with noise and excitement. Ever since the last lesson, everyone had become much more well-behaved. No one dared to question the emperor's strength anymore. They either didn't kill, or killed them all. As for the problem of the foreign tribes, that was not a problem. The emperor had a god behind him, and all his decisions were sacred. It seemed that in everyone's hearts, the gods were still supreme. Even if the gods said that shit smelled good, they would definitely cheer loudly. It smells so good, but at this time, something bad happened in the city. They saw a group of children jumping around a sloppily dressed woman with ridicule on their faces. The woman who had fallen to the ground had her head slightly lowered. Her beautiful hair was extremely dirty, and even her face was very dirty. Her body exuded a musty smell, as if she had not bathed for many days. In Wuxia Empire, this was the first time he had seen such a person. After all, as long as they could move, they would be able to live well in Voidless Empire. Only a lazy person would be like this and be looked down upon by others. Meanwhile, this woman had clearly been here for a few days. In the beginning, everyone felt that she was pitiful and would give her a bit of charity, even helping her find a job. But who knew that this woman didn't know how to do a job at all, and furthermore, she was the kind of person who would only make things worse the more they tried to help. I have never seen such a stupid woman before. She couldn't even do a normal job like sweeping the streets well. She was simply a malignant tumor of Voidless Empire. Every day, when she walked on the streets, the stench would fill the air, and whether or not she would be able to take a bath would be up to the heavens. I really hope that the heavens will send down a rain and sober this woman up. Sloppy woman, dirty woman, big idiot, doesn't work, only goofs around, freeloading. The children held hands and circled around the woman. The people in the surroundings also had a look of disdain on their faces. If not for the rules, they would really want to chase this woman out of Voidless Empire. This woman is truly throwing away Voidless Empire's face. The woman remained silent and fell to the ground. She didn't say anything, and she seemed very helpless. Outside the city wall, Yihua brought his mother and the others to his own territory. Lu Jing looked at the majestic city wall and revealed an expression of admiration. Although Chen Yuqing and Yi Juetian had seen the city wall before, right now, they still had to exclaim in admiration. This is too impressive, too extravagant. To build such a city wall, just how much money would it cost? Yihua, are you really the emperor of this city? Lu Jing didn't dare to believe it and asked in astonishment. Mother, this is my city. Right now, Yihua felt incomparably proud, especially when he saw the praise in his mother's eyes. This was a kind of satisfaction. This kind of feeling is really good. Lu Jing nodded her head. Yihua, you have done well. Mother is proud of you. Yihua revealed a light smile. To be able to hear these words from his mother, anything is worth it. Big brother, are you going to give me the title of general or something? The kind where I lead troops to war. I also want to start a war. Yi Juetian was already impatient. In the god's realm, because of him being the emperor, he was unable to become a general. But in this place, Big Brother has the final say. Lu Jing said petulantly, you should marry a wife for mother first. After that, think about other things. Mother, if I don't start a career, how am I going to start a family? Right at this moment, Qingya said, as the saying goes, start a family, start a career, start a family first, then start a career. Sister-in-law, none of you are helping me at all. Yi Juetian pouted his mouth, then walked towards the city gate. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji supported Lu Jing on the left and right, and this was definitely the appearance of them trying to curry favor with their mother-in-law. Chen Yuqing had been trying to curry favor with Yihua for over 1,000 years, and thus, She gave the opportunity to Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, while she walked beside Yihua. In actuality, she really wanted to hold on to Yihua's hand, or hold on to Yihua's arm, but she didn't dare to. If Yihua were to fling her arm away, wouldn't that be very awkward? However, with mother by his side, Yihua had to give her face. Yihua, who was walking beside Yihua, was thinking to himself, "You foolish woman, I am standing right beside you. Are you still not going to make a move? Are you still waiting for me to make a move? This opportunity is hard to come by. I wonder what you are afraid of." Chen Yuqing made up her mind and immediately hugged onto Yihua's arm. Furthermore, she hugged onto Yihua's arm very tightly, afraid that Yihua would fling her arm away. Yihua went into a daze for a moment. This Chen Yuqing, to be hugging onto me so tightly, seems like I have really scared her. However, being hugged onto by a beauty like Chen Yuqing, it is still rather comfortable. After all, Chen Yuqing's chest muscles are quite fierce. Seeing that Yihua actually did not fling her arm away, Chen Yuqing immediately became joyous, and a happy smile immediately appeared on her face. Her face was stuck onto Yihua's arm, and she was very happy. Chapter 1065. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji kept introducing Wuxia Empire to Donghuang Baiji, as if this place was a historical place. Lu Jing listened with great interest. These management methods were really novel. Yi Juetian, on the other hand, ran away without a trace. He was really like a child. But he was already an adult. How could he get lost? Towards Yihua's appearance, the people immediately knelt down and kowtowed to him, then loudly shouted, "Long live the emperor, long live the empress." Of course, there was also the empress dowager, Lu Jing. Yihua naturally had to accompany his mother to go shopping. This was sufficient to prove that the current Yihua also had a filial heart. This was truly hard to come by. Both Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were able to see Yihua's transformation during these few years. In the past, Yihua would always look at everyone with a kind of silence, as if he wasn't looking at anyone at all. But now, even when he was looking at his people, a different kind of feeling would appear in his gaze. It was as if he was concerned about everyone's life. This is what a good man should be like. Yi Juetian was currently strolling around Voidless Empire by himself, but everyone thought that Yi Juetian was the emperor, and they all knelt on the ground and shouted, "Long live the emperor!" There was no helping it. Yihua and Yi Juetian looked exactly the same, and people who were not familiar with each other would not be able to tell the difference at all. Yi Juetian felt helpless as well. "I'm being treated as a big brother again. In the past, I've been treated as a big brother quite a few times. Say, I'm already used to it." However, right at this moment, Yi Juetian heard a strange song. Something didn't seem right. Following the source of the sound, Yi Juetian walked over and saw a group of children running in circles. There seemed to be a person in the middle. When the surrounding people saw that Yi Juetian had arrived, they were startled for a moment, then immediately knelt on the ground and shouted, "Long live the emperor!" Yi Juetian really didn't know how to explain. If he explained, wouldn't he lose face for his big brother? Wouldn't that be very embarrassing? Yi Juetian, who was helpless, waved his hand. He had even experienced the thrill of being an emperor. That was why it was said that following his big brother was the most important thing. When the children saw that the emperor had arrived, they hurriedly knelt down to pay their respects. "What's going on?" Yi Juetian imitated his big brother's expression and tone as he spoke, suppressing his voice. Not to mention, he even had a 50 to 60% resemblance to her. Yi Juetian looked at the girl lying on the ground and furrowed his brows. What was this girl trying to do? Right at this moment, a man who was dressed gorgeously walked over and said respectfully, "Your Majesty, this woman, she is very strange." The man didn't know what to say and could only describe it as weird. But it was indeed strange. Strange? How strange? Yi Juetian asked curiously as he walked towards the woman. He indeed felt that it was a bit strange. No matter what, he had the status of an emperor, yet she was still lying on the ground. Wasn't she going to pay her respects? "Aren't you afraid of being beheaded?" The man at the side respectfully explained for a while, and Yi Juetian finally understood. So it turned out to be a stupid woman. Looking at the dirty woman in front of him, Yi Juetian felt quite helpless. Should he interfere or not? If he didn't do anything, would he continue to be laughed at here? If he interfered, it seemed that his identity did not allow him to. What a dilemma! The woman on the ground seemed to sense that someone was beside her. She slowly raised her head and looked at Yi Juetian. Yi Juetian, who was deep in thought, also looked at the woman, and their eyes met. Yi Juetian looked at the woman's eyes. This pair of eyes is truly beautiful. They are just like clear spring water, and there isn't a single bit of filth in them. However, apart from her eyes, there was not a single spot on her body that was clean. Looking at the girl's eyes, Yi Juetian pursed his lips. With such a pair of intelligent eyes, how could she be a fool? It was really strange. The woman took a look at Yi Juetian, then slowly lowered her head. This helpless look of hers caused Yi Juetian to be at a loss. If Big Brother were to find out that I picked up a sloppy woman on the street and brought her back. *CK, don't say too much, I will definitely be taught a lesson, even my mother will have to be taught a lesson. Indeed, in Lu Jing and Yi Hua's hearts, a woman who was worthy of Yi Juetian would definitely be an outstanding woman, and not a woman like this. Yi Juetian pondered for a while and decided to give the woman a hand. Lying in the middle of the street like this, how bad would his image be? When the time comes, I will see where the problem is and then deal with it. In any case, I am a deity, and I have to bless others, so how can I not save them? Can you still move? Yi Juetian asked lightly. The woman lightly bit her lips, lowered her head, and did not say anything. I am asking you, can you still move? Yi Juetian was speechless. Are you not even going to give face to the emperor? Do you have to be so arrogant? Don't think that I will be moved just because you have good eyes. My big brother is going to introduce an extremely awesome wife to me. The woman slowly nodded her head. Follow me. Yi Juetian said lightly. The woman used a great deal of effort to prop her body up, and she appeared very weak. Just by standing, she felt as if she was going to collapse, as if she had not eaten for many days. Yi Juetian sighed, then walked forward. Meanwhile, the woman behind him limped behind him, and with every step she took, her brows would tightly wrinkle, as if she was in a lot of pain. However, when Yi Juetian, who was walking at the front, turned his head to take a look, he saw that this woman was actually walking so slowly, and when he saw that she was limping, he felt very helpless. With a flick of his finger, a white light shot into the woman's body. This caused the woman to feel much more comfortable. At the very least, she felt much better. When the people in the surroundings saw that the emperor actually saved this woman, they all sighed in admiration at the emperor's kindness. They had originally thought that the emperor was going to chase this woman out. After choosing a high-class restaurant, Yi Juetian walked in, and when the boss saw Yi Juetian, he hurriedly knelt down and kowtowed. Open a room, prepare hot water, and clean clothes, the kind that women wear. This commoner will go and prepare them right away. The boss didn't dare to say anything else and hurriedly went to prepare them. Meanwhile, Yi Juetian actually saw the woman standing outside the restaurant, seemingly not daring to enter. Come in, what are you standing there for? Yi Juetian shouted helplessly. Was there such a stupid woman? The woman raised her head and looked at the restaurant in front of her. She knew that she couldn't afford to stay here, and she would even be beaten up. I told you to come in, did you hear me? Yi Juetian's temper flared, and he had to repeat himself every time. The woman was frightened and could only listen to him. She walked into the restaurant, and the smell that her body gave off caused everyone to frown. Even Yi Juetian frowned. How long had it been since she last bathed? Emperor, everything is prepared. The boss said respectfully. Lead the way. Emperor, please follow this commoner. Yi Juetian brought the woman to the most luxurious guest room. Go and take a bath first, then change your clothes. These are clean clothes. Yi Juetian said calmly. Sometimes, he would glance at the woman's eyes, and they were really pretty. The woman stood there and didn't say anything, causing Yi Juetian's head to hurt. Do you want me to help you bathe? The woman shook her head. Then why aren't you going? Yi Juetian said helplessly. The woman bit her lips, took the clean clothes, and walked behind the barrier. Chapter 1066. Yi Juetian sat on the wooden stool outside and waited. He thought to himself that this girl's eyes were really pretty. Not knowing how much time had passed, Yi Juetian felt that he was about to fall asleep. Yi Juetian took a look as if nothing had happened, then lowered his head. Afterward, he suddenly raised his head, and was dumbstruck. Was this the same filthy woman from before? Yi Juetian rubbed his eyes. He couldn't be dreaming, right? Was this girl really that beautiful? She was indeed very beautiful. Up until now, women had always been very sloppy. It was fine if their hair was messy, but even their faces were very dirty. It was impossible to see their original appearance. But now they had all been washed clean and had even put on clean clothes. It was as if they had become another person. At the very least, Yi Juetian was stupefied when he saw this. This woman was really pretty. I was just saying, with such beautiful eyes. How could she be an ugly woman? Yi Juetian hurriedly retracted his evil gaze, as he saw that everyone else was a little scared. At this time, the delicious dishes were served, and the boss personally served them. When he saw the woman, he was stunned. Was this the dirty woman who had just come in? This should be another girl. Your Majesty, please enjoy. Yes. The boss respectfully left the room. The woman looked at the dishes on the table and swallowed her saliva. She seemed to really want to eat, but she needed Yi Juetian's permission first. Don't just stand there, eat. Yi Juetian said softly. Such a great beauty was actually being mocked on the streets. He was truly speechless. The woman was delighted and quickly sat down. She then began to eat in large mouthfuls as if she had been starving for months. Yi Juetian looked at the fair arm of the woman. There were still traces of her being beaten up. How pitiful. What's your name? Yi Juetian asked curiously. The woman immediately stopped eating and raised her head to look at Yi Juetian. Admiring a beauty at such a close distance made Yi Juetian a little surprised. After a long time, the woman did not speak. Yi Juetian asked curiously, "Can you speak?" "Yes," the woman replied. Her voice was very pleasant to the ears, and there was a kind of intoxicating feeling to it. Yi Juetian quite liked women's voices. To be more precise, he quite liked all of them. Just that, their identities. Big brother and mother would never agree. "Then what's your name?" Yi Juetian asked curiously. "My name is... I also don't know, I forgot," the woman said disappointedly. "Then what do you remember? What about his family? Where is it?" The woman shook her head. She really couldn't remember anything. Yi Juetian immediately sensed the woman's body and discovered that she was an ordinary person. After letting out a light sigh, Yi Juetian said indifferently, "Do you have any plans after eating? You don't want me anymore?" The woman looked at Yi Juetian, her beautiful eyes filled with tears. Yi Juetian was dumbfounded. "When did I say that I wanted you? But you were the one who asked me to follow you. Since I followed you, I am yours. F*ck me. What kind of logic is this? Can't you think normally? I didn't mean that." But when such a beautiful woman looks at you pitifully and says, "Don't you want me anymore?" He really couldn't bear to reject her. However, am I, Yi Juetian, such a lecherous man? This was obviously not the case. One had to have a good attitude when dealing with such matters. "Miss, you misunderstood." As soon as she finished speaking, the chopsticks in the woman's hand fell onto the table. Helpless tears flowed from the corners of her eyes. "Since you don't want me, why do you want me to go with you? Beauty, this logic of yours is too formidable, isn't it? I, Yi Juetian, have learned a lot. Beauty, I think that you really misunderstood. I didn't mean that." After hearing that, the woman slightly lowered her hand and no longer said another word. A desolate atmosphere filled the entire room. Yi Juetian didn't know how to solve this problem. He really wanted to ask Big Brother what he should do when he encounters such a situation. If it was Yi Hua, if he didn't consider marriage, he could play around however he wanted. But if it was marriage, then he had to be cautious. "Where is your family?" The woman shook her head. Yi Juetian had a headache, not knowing how he should choose. On one hand, this woman was indeed the type that he liked, and it wasn't that he couldn't date her. However, here came the problem. She was definitely not the type that his big brother and mother would be satisfied with. "How about I help you find a place to stay first?" Yi Juetian asked. "Do you really not want me anymore?" The woman raised her head and asked again. Not knowing why, Yi Juetian felt that the woman's question was very serious, as if he were to refuse, she would do something stupid. When a person is forced into a desperate situation, they would indeed do stupid things. I'm really convinced by you. I want you, all right? Can you eat now? Yi Juetian was convinced. I didn't expect that I would encounter such a thing today, being chased by an extremely beautiful woman. However, why do I feel that I'm a little stupid? Really? Yi Juetian nodded his head. The woman revealed out a warm smile that seemed as if it was able to melt the ice and snow outside of Wuxia Empire. Let's eat. Yi Juetian said softly. He wanted to calm this woman down first. And you eat too. I'm not hungry. Do you not want me anymore? Yi Juetian. I said that I'm not hungry. What does this have to do with whether I want you or not? In order to calm the woman down, Yi Juetian could only eat a few mouthfuls, while the woman who was sitting opposite of him was smiling very happily. Did you really forget your name? I don't know. The woman nodded her head seriously. Then, let me help you come up with a name. Sure. Then I shall call you Yi. Yi Juetian thought for a while and felt that this name was pretty good. The woman muttered a few sentences, then revealed out a satisfied smile. I shall be called Yi. Then, what is your name? My name is Yi Juetian. Then why do they call you Emperor? What is Emperor? Yi asked naively. From the looks of it, she doesn't know anything. Yi Juetian didn't even know how to explain that Emperor is just another form of address. Oh, then should I call you Ye, or should I call you Emperor? Ye. The hell, even mother has never called me that before. Forget it. Just call me Ye. Yi Juetian said helplessly. Ye and E are pretty good. E smiled warmly. Yi Juetian took a look at the sky outside. It's already getting late. It should be time for me to go back. If not, when the time comes, mother will say that I am immature. Just as Yi Juetian finished thinking, Yi Hua's voice transmission rang out in his mind. Where did you run off to? Yi Hua asked coldly. Yi Juetian knew that he would find out. Big brother, I was just strolling around the city. Chapter 1067. Come back, mother is looking for you. Yi Hua said gravely. All right, coming right away. Yi Juetian felt very helpless. I have to go back now. Looking at Yi who was in front of him, Yi Juetian said lightly. Yi, I need to leave for a while first. You stay here first, I will come and visit you tomorrow. How about it? Yay, you don't want me anymore? Yi's rarely seen face immediately became downcast, causing Yi Juetian to feel very vexed. This beauty has such a pitiful look on her face. It is really hard to reject her. No, I have something that I need to do. Yi Juetian explained. Bring me along, I can help too. Yi seemed to want to show off a lot. Yi, since you are one of my people, shouldn't you listen to me? Yi went silent for a moment, then nodded her head. Since you are going to listen to me, shouldn't you obediently stay here and wait for me? Yi Juetian felt that there was nothing wrong with his logic. After hearing that, Yi pouted her small mouth and slightly lowered her head. Looking at the sky outside, it is still quite early. Yi, I will come and look for you in the afternoon. You can rest here first. Then you must come and look for me, you must come. Yi looked at Yi Juetian and said seriously. She seemed incomparably serious and didn't seem to be joking at all. Right now, Yi Juetian could only agree to it. This is truly like coaxing a child, but coaxing such a beautiful child is still rather satisfying. Be obedient, don't run around, don't go out. Yi Juetian instructed. He was rather assured of Wuxia Empire's safety. All right, I will be obedient. Yi Juetian let out a breath, then disappeared from the room. When Yi who was in the room saw that Yi Juetian had left, she immediately felt disappointed. She supported her chin with both of her hands and turned her head to look at the outside world. I really hope that the afternoon will come sooner. Ye is a good person. After returning to the palace, Yi Juetian hurriedly contacted his big brother, then went to his mother's bedroom. Brat, where did you run off to this time? Lu Jing said in a bad mood. She was truly worried to death. Yi Hua who was standing at the side had no choice but to find a chance to temper his little brother's character in the future. If this continues, it really won't do. The three daughters-in-law were obediently serving their mother-in-law, making Lu Jing very happy. Having more daughters-in-law was also a good thing. Yi Juetian helplessly said, "Mother, I will just take a walk in the city." I don't even know where he went. During this period of time, stay by mother's side and don't run around. Yi Hua, you should settle your younger brother's matter as soon as possible. You still haven't started a family yet. What kind of person is that? Right now, Lu Jing only wanted Yi Juetian to have a family as well. Even if she was at ease, a man who had a family would definitely become more mature. Hearing his mother's words, the image of Yi appeared in Yi Juetian's mind, and he was stunned. Why did Yi appear? He hurriedly shook his head. What do you mean by shaking your head? Lu Jing was instantly angered. He actually disobeyed the arrangement. Yi Hua's face sunk. This younger brother of mine is very disobedient. I have to properly train him up. I'll listen to the arrangements. Yi Juetian hurriedly explained. This sentence was pleasing to the ears. Lu Jing was very satisfied. Yehua, go and take a look and see if there are any good girls. Being virtuous and virtuous is the basic requirement, the family background and so on also have to be excellent. Lu Jing said lightly. When it comes to choosing a daughter-in-law, one cannot be careless. Yi Hua's 3 daughters-in-law who were standing at the back let out a breath of relief. It is fortunate that our actions were quick, if not, we wouldn't be able to enter the eyes of our mother-in-law. Yi Hua felt that what mother said was extremely correct. Back then, I, the supreme overlord, was also duped by Qingya and Baiji, causing them to be pregnant with my bloodline. If not, I wouldn't have anything to do with them right now. Alright, I was just joking. Qingya and Baiji are actually both very outstanding women. Only Yutong is still fooling around outside. If mother were to find out that you sneaked out and fooled around outside, you would be done for. Alright, leave them with me. Yi Hua nodded his head. Seems like I need to hold another mobilization meeting. As for my subordinates, I will slowly introduce them to mother in the future. After dealing with her youngest son's matter, Lu Jing began talking about Yi Hua. Yehua. Mother, is there anything else? Lu Jing held onto Qian Yuqing's small hand, then pulled Qian Yuqing to the front and said, "The 2 of you work harder, understand?" Qian Yuqing's beautiful face immediately turned red, and it felt as if blood was about to drip out of her face. Mother actually said such shameful words. Furthermore, what's the use of me working hard by myself? Without Yi Hua's cooperation, no matter how hard I work, it will all be in vain. Meanwhile, Yi Hua seemed to be very calm. Mother, let's deal with Zhu Tian's matter first, then we can talk about other things. Qian Yuqing, who was very happy just a moment ago, immediately became disappointed. In my heart, I really want to have a child with Yi Hua. If I have a child with Yi Hua will definitely treat me better, and he won't be like how he is right now, being hot and cold. These are 2 different matters. There is no conflict between them. Qingya and Baiji are also fine. If they both get pregnant in the end, mother will have something to do too. The 3 daughters-in-law. It seems like giving birth to a child is to not let the mother-in-law feel bored. However, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji did not plan to give birth to another child. Thus, Qingya said obediently, "Mother, we have discussed with Yi Hua, we will not give birth to another child in the next few years. This task still needs Yuqing to complete. After all, Yuqing and Yi Hua still do not have a child yet. Since the 2 of you have discussed it, mother will only be looking at the results. Yuqing, in this aspect, you should ask them for guidance." Lu Jing said with a slight smile. Serving one's husband is also a skill. How can one make one's husband happy? Qian Yuqing became even more bashful as she thought about some embarrassing things in her mind. So annoying. Right now, Yi Hua doesn't seem to care about it at all, but in actuality, in his heart, he is already impatient to take a blood from Qian Yuqing. After all, it has been many years since I took a blood from Qian Yuqing. Thinking about it now, I have a record of 4 kills, and I wonder if I will have a record of 5 kills. Then, mother, I will go and arrange it right now. Yi Hua said lightly. All right. Mother, I will be going out too. Yi Juetian said. Lu Jing said hurriedly. Come back here. Before the matter is settled, you are not allowed to leave the palace. It can't be. Do you have to be so ruthless? It's not like I will run away. I am just afraid that you will run away. Lu Jing said petulantly. I have run away once before. The three daughters-in-law laughed. Yi Juetian could only helplessly sit at the side. Right now, I am a bit worried about Yi. She wouldn't be messing around, right? Right now, it is still quite early before the afternoon. I can still be at ease. On the other side, Yi Hua called for a meeting with all the family members. After all, this was a big matter regarding his little brother's marriage, and he cannot be careless about it. This woman definitely has to be outstanding. If not, how will she be able to enter Yi family? Congratulations, Your Honor. Congratulations, Your Honor. Congratulations, Your Honor. Yi Hua. These subordinates of mine, they are truly becoming more and more mischievous these few days that I am not around. Chapter 1068. Absolute Heaven. Have you recovered from your injuries? Yi Hua asked faintly as he looked at Absolute Heaven. He felt that Absolute Heaven's strength seemed to have more or less recovered. Back then, when Absolute Heaven was stabbed by Brett with an arrow, Absolute Heaven had nearly died. Ju Tian bowed slightly and said respectfully, "Thanks to Your Honor's blessing, subordinate has more or less recovered." That's good then. After being a cat for so many years, it must have been hard on your wives. Yi Hua said faintly. This made Dongfang Yuaner and Guan Yanxin blush. These few days, they had already been comforted. However, everyone in the team was thick-skinned. Ju Tian said earnestly, "Your Honor can be at ease, subordinate will prepare for battle day and night." Not bad. Wei Chong, learn more from Lai Gu and Ju Tian. Xiao Tang has been waiting for you for many years. Don't think that I, the Supreme Overlord, don't think that I don't know. Tang Wei had a wronged look on her face. Wei Chong, on the other hand, had a calm look on his face, and even said with a serious look on his face, "Your Honor, subordinate has been fasting recently." F***ck. This excuse is too good. Tang Wei wanted to faint, because the Anidia that Uncle Wei was talking about was not an ordinary Anidia, it was 100 years. He was about to go crazy. However, there was still Sun Fong. When will Death Mage be able to stop using his fingers? Today I want to talk about 3 things. This is also the future strategic deployment. I hope that everyone will listen to it seriously. Yi Hua said gravely. Yi Hua didn't seem to be joking at all, and he seemed to be very serious. This also made the subordinates very serious. LV Liang had already taken out her little notebook, preparing to write down important things. Yi Hong was doing the same now, appearing very serious. The first thing. It's also a priority. Listen up. All of the subordinates stared straight at His Honor, and their eyeballs seemed as if they were going to pop out of their sockets. I told you to listen. I'm not asking you to stare. What, are you rebelling? The subordinates immediately lowered their heads. What do you mean by lowering your head? Are you unconvinced? Yi Hua said coldly. It is so hard to be a subordinate. I wonder how your wife is able to endure His Honor's temper. The first thing is related to my brother's marriage. Look for a woman with excellent moral character. Forget about the fanciful ones. Use your wife as the standard. Dou Fusher suddenly raised his hand. Dou Fusher looked at Li Hun in disbelief. Wife, are you trying to kill me? Dou Fusher. Do you have any questions? Yi Hua asked gravely. Dou Fusher's heart sank. It wasn't easy for him to escape from the ranks of those who stood out, but today, he was tricked by his wife. Li Hun said tenderly, Your Honor, Dou Fusher wants to ask you if you find this kind of girl, but she doesn't cooperate with you, what should you do? Yi Hua shook his head, then said towards Lai Gu. You speak. Lai Gu said with a deadpan expression. Intimidation. Yi Hua nodded his head. Wei Chong, you tell me about it. Wei Chong said righteously. Kidnap. Yi Hua was very satisfied. Ju Tian, why don't you tell me about it? Absolute Heaven didn't even think about it. Intimidation and kidnapping. Look, what a capable subordinate, what a sensible subordinate, this is efficiency. Is everything clear now? Yi Hua said gravely. Understood. The subordinates replied respectfully. Very good. Now let's talk about the second and third matter. These 2 matters are also related. Looking at the grave expression on His Honor's face, the subordinates became grave as well. My mother is suffering from a rare disease. I have tested her a few times, And this disease seems to be a kind of living being. The more I treat her, the faster she will fall ill. I can only appease her. Right now, I have no other choice. Ju Tian, you go and take a look at my mother later on. Subordinate obeys. Yi Hua nodded his head then said, right now, my mother's disease can still be delayed, but it is not a solution. Therefore, I need to find Qing Su. Which of the three of you is going to help me complete this task? The three that Yi Hua was referring to were naturally Wei Chong, Lai Gu, and Ju Tian. Yi Zizi and Brett had not returned yet. However, at this moment, Dou Fusher raised his hand again. Dou Fusher was in despair. That gaze of his seemed to be asking, Your Honor, can I change to a wife who doesn't make things difficult for me? What is it this time? Yi Hua asked. Li Hun said tenderly, Your Honor, Dou Fusher wants to ask, who is Qing Su? In actuality, this was what everyone was wondering about as well. After all, they weren't members of the 7 deadly sins, and they only knew that there were 2 members of the 7 deadly sins that didn't return to the 7 deadly sins. Wei Chong, you speak. Yi Hua said faintly. Wei Chong let out a light breath, then took a step forward. Afterward, he turned around and said, Qing Su is one of the 7 deadly sins. As one of the 7 deadly sins, Qing Su is a bit arrogant, and it is very hard to communicate with him. Qing Su is a self-centered person, and his personality is indeed a kind of flaw. However, his strength is not to be underestimated. In the entire 7 deadly sins, every single person has their own unique skill. And Qing Su is a master of using poison. In fact, he even has a weird habit of eating the poison that he concocts himself first, then concoct the antidote based on his own senses. Hearing up to here, everyone's scalp went numb. Normally, poison masters would use other people to test their poison, but this is the first time that I've heard of poison masters using themselves to test their poison. Yi Hua said inwardly, sooner or later, I will die. However, Wei Chong continued, Qing Su's poison is colorless and odorless. You are completely unable to know why you were poisoned, and you are also unable to know when Qing Su made his move. Qing Su is just an ordinary person. Hearing the last sentence, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Isn't this Mother***Cur a little too scary? This person is actually an ordinary person, and even an ordinary person is able to enter his honor's 7 great sins. Furthermore, looking at Wei Chang's appearance, it seems like he is also very afraid of this Qing Su. Everyone had died. However, their strength had increased exponentially after they died. Qing Su was sure to be the same. Perhaps, his realm of using poison had reached an unimaginable level. Whoever he wanted to kill, that person would die. Unless you wear a gas mask. Qing Su couldn't be considered an ordinary person because he wasn't a human at all. He was also from the Burning Fiend race. The biggest difference was that the weaker races didn't possess any battle prowess at all. Compared to Yi Zizi and the Open Cloud races, the difference was like heaven and earth. However, it was precisely this difference that made Qing Su work extra hard. He didn't even hesitate to use himself as a human cauldron. He was simply ferocious to the extreme. Although he was a little arrogant, everyone had to admit that when he was ruthless, he wasn't even afraid of himself. Moreover, in the battle back then, he, Qing Su, alone had killed 1/3 of the Supremes. However, in the end, Qing Su still wasn't able to defend against the sneak attack of the humans, and Qing Su still died. Wei Chong paused for a moment, then continued, This Qing Su is also a big shot who dresses up as a female. We usually call him a gay. Everyone, I'm afraid that Qing Su ended up poisoning himself to the point that he became stupid, right? Chapter 1069. That's right. It was because of one time when he was practicing poison that he became an idiot and liked to wear women's clothes. After he recovered, he felt that wearing women's clothes wasn't bad, and it had been like that ever since. Although Qing Su is very good at refining poisons, in terms of treating illnesses, if he dares to call himself number 2, no one would dare to call themselves number 1. Wei Chong said in a deep voice. Yi Hua added, That's right, even I wouldn't claim to be number 1. After obtaining his honor's affirmation, his honor's subordinates knew that this person was indeed formidable. Although his honor's strength wasn't that great, he was much more formidable than those who had actual strength. Thus, I hope that you all will be able to find Qing Su and teach him a lesson. Just beat him up until his face is swollen. Yihua said faintly. Towards His Honor's request, the three's expressions stiffened. His Honor. Wasn't that a little too much? That was Qing Su, who had been tricked by him many times in the past. This fellow was able to casually poison an entire city of people to death. In the end, he even used this as a foundation to refine various versions of the Poison City medicine. He was simply a huge freak. Who knew where this guy was selling fake medicine or doing some shady business? Or he could chop off his own hand and reattach it in the shortest time possible. Who would dare to find such a perverted person? Only if you are sick would you go and look for me. Furthermore, His Honor had even said that he wanted to beat up the gay guy until his nose and face were swollen. I'm afraid that when the time comes, I will be abused instead. Zhu Tian, why don't you go? Yihua said faintly. Zhu Tian's expression sunk as he cupped his hands and said, For your honor to be willing to hand such an important mission to subordinate, it means that you think highly of subordinate. However, your honor should also know that subordinate has just recovered his strength, and furthermore, subordinate's wife has yet to be satisfied. Therefore, I am unable to complete this important mission. Wei Chong and Lai Gu. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen someone as shameless as this. He had clearly recovered his strength, but he still said that he wanted to satisfy his wife. Why don't you just go and die? Wei Chong, you go. Yihua was able to understand Zhu Tian. Zhu Tian had just recovered, and the most important thing for him to do right now was to have sex with his wife. After all, Zhu Tian was a male cat, and he too had his physiological needs. Wei Chong immediately cupped his hands and said earnestly, Your Honor, subordinate had just reflected on what I did just now, and felt that Xiao Tang had suffered for so many years. Thus, subordinate has decided to end the 100 years of Anidia in advance and complete Xiao Tang's long-cherished wish. Lai Gu. Damn it! You two perverts, in order to not go, you actually went to talk to your own woman. You two are simply shameless. Yihua said gravely, Wei Chong, I am rather happy that you have such thoughts. Tang Wei, who was in the team, was also overjoyed. Uncle Wei is finally willing to touch me. It wasn't easy. Yihua's gaze looked towards Lai Gu. Lai Gu was frightened to the point that he trembled, then hurriedly cupped his hands and said, my wife, they can't leave me. All the subordinates. This reason was simply too hasty. It wasn't convincing at all. Yihua suddenly asked Wen Xia, Is what Lai Gu said the truth? Wen Xia said respectfully, Replying to your honor, it has already been a day since Lai Gu handed in the public rations. Wen Xia, I wasn't in the right state yesterday. Lai Gu hurriedly explained. This wife of mine is too good at swindling people. Yihua said faintly, Lai Gu, I will hand over the mission of finding Qing Su to you. I will give you the coordinates. Remember, teach him a good lesson, then bring him back. Lai Gu felt that he needed to pinch his philtrum, causing his breathing to become a bit hurried. I don't know if playing dead will be of any use right now. Big brother, you can do it. I support you. Dou Fusher, who was in the team, cheered for Lai Gu. In any case, Lai Gu is the big brother who taught me how to comb my philtrum. I definitely have to cheer for him. Yihua said faintly, Lai Gu, let's set off later. I will have to rely on you to treat my mother's illness. Lai Gu. His honor is simply making things difficult for me. I obviously know where Qing Su is. Wouldn't it be fine if I just go and look for him? Why do I have to go and make the mission more difficult? However, Yihua had his own views. If I were to directly go and look for Qing Su, it would seem as if I am going to look for him. Furthermore, this Qing Su needs to be taught a lesson, and this lesson cannot be taught by me. I have to let someone else do it. Your Honor, I have a request. Lai Gu felt that he was done for, and thus he spoke out his final wish. Say it, as long as I am able to do it, I will definitely do it for you. Everyone felt that Lai Gu was making his final wishes. This is too miserable. Your Honor, I wish to bring a person along with me. Lai Gu said gravely. Hearing Lai Gu's words, everyone shivered. They were afraid that if Lai Gu were to call out their name, they would definitely die. The girls were very at ease. The person that Lai Gu was calling out to was definitely a guy. All right, I will allow you to do it. Yihua waved his hand and said heroically, Dou Fusher. Li Gu said straightforwardly. As the big brother, I am about to die as the little brother. How can you, as the little brother, watch with folded arms at the side? However, Li Hun, who was within the crowd, cried out in surprise. Hubby, why did you faint? Dou Fusher had already fainted. It's fine if I am cheated by my wife, but now, I am cheated by my big brother as well. I might as well just die. Yihua took a deep breath and said faintly, after going to the God's realm this time, I discovered a few serious problems, and those problems are also important matters for our team in the future. Wei Chong, Zhu Tian, the two of you properly think of a countermeasure. Yes. I haven't even said what the problem is, and the two of you already said it. Can you please be more attentive? Yihua shouted out coldly. Wei Chong and Zhu Tian hurriedly bowed down. Your Honor, please forgive us, it is all a conditioned reflex. Yihua, guardians have appeared in the God's realm too. Thus, I feel that this group of guardians is hiding a very big secret. They seem to have collectively lost their memories. Remember this point. LV Liang hurriedly noted it down. Yihua continued, there is definitely a secret that cannot be told to anyone behind this. Is it the loss of morals, or is it the protrusion of the bottom line? The subordinates felt that what Yihua said made too much sense. There is one more thing. The deity encountered a weapon. This weapon is very formidable. It is capable of harming me, let alone you all. Fortunately, the person who wielded this weapon is very weak. Thus, there is no need to fear him. However, I still hope to be able to possess such a weapon. I will inform Wei Chong about the materials that I need. Try your best to find as many of those materials as you can. For the sake of safety, Yihua naturally had to make a foolproof plan. Only then would he be able to protect the safety of the entire team. However, upon hearing that it was such a formidable weapon, the subordinates were all extremely shocked. Just what kind of weapon was it that was capable of harming his honor? Your Honor, what exactly is this weapon? Wei Chong asked puzzledly. Chapter 1070. This kind of weapon is above the primordial divine weapon, and is called a legendary weapon. This is also the first time I've heard of it. Right now, there's only one in the entire world. Yihua said gravely. This is a weapon that will be able to threaten me. This feels very exciting. After all, in this world, there were too few things that could threaten the main body. All the subordinates were shocked. A legendary weapon. Holy *T. This is the first time I've heard of it. It sounds awesome. Was it the kind that emitted colorful light like a Krypton item, dazzling and gaudy? Towards this legendary weapon, Absolute Heaven was exceptionally cautious. Your Honor, if such a weapon were to appear in batches, I'm afraid that it would be disadvantageous for us. Yihua slightly propped up his chin and said faintly, this kind of legendary weapons manufacturing process is very complicated, and it is definitely impossible for it to appear in batches. I also want to make one. Yes. The subordinates replied respectfully. Yihua stood up and swept his gaze across all of his subordinates. This time around, all of the missions have been assigned to everyone. Everyone, go out and search for the mission. Don't say that I am not going to give you any missions, this time around. This is a chance for all of you to perform. However, all of you still have to remember a few questions. Your Honor, please speak. First of all, we are good people. We would never kill the innocent. Even if we were to kill the innocent, we would have to do it properly. After all, killing is not a good move. Are you all clear? Understood. Then let's go. Get busy. We will solemnly obey Your Honor's decree. We will take our leave. The subordinates instantly disappeared from where they stood. Yihua let out a breath. Bringing along a group of mischievous subordinates sure isn't easy. Sometimes I feel like my head is going to explode. Then what should I do? Didn't Mother tell me to make love to Sister Yuqing as soon as possible? Indeed, they should have done it, but he still had to reject her a few times. He couldn't let little Sister Yuqing get it so easily. After all, if she got it too easily, she wouldn't treasure it. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji are a good example. I must let little Sister Yuqing know that it is a great honor to be able to have sex with me. I, the Supreme Overlord, am truly King genius, to actually be able to think of such a damaging method. All of his subordinates were ready to go. The most tragic one was Dou Fusher. Hubby, go in peace. Drifting Soul leaned against Dou Fusher's chest and whispered softly, but why did her words sound so strange? In the past, Dou Fusher felt that he was extremely lucky to have such a good wife like Soul Flaying, but it only happened now. He was extremely unlucky to have a wife like Li Huan. It was only a matter of a few seconds for her husband to die. She didn't even blink her eyes. There was no way he could continue living like this. I'm afraid I won't be able to return this time, Dou Fusher said in pain. Li Hun said softly, Hubby, even if something bad happens to you, I will avenge you and then live as a widow in peace. Floating world. Do you have to be so mischievous? Can you be more attentive? Brother die. Hubby, I am just joking, with Lai Gu around, it will be fine. Didn't Uncle Wei say it before, broken arms and legs can be reattached. I reckon that broken head can be reattached too, as long as you don't do that, it will be fine. Floating world. The hell, who exactly do you love? Floating world, am very suspicious right now. Alright, I will be leaving first. Obediently complete the mission, I will properly serve you when I return. Soul Flaying carried a mischievous look as she kissed Floating World, then walked out of the house. Floating World let out a deep sigh. How would you guys understand the pain of having a sexy wife? This kind of luck with women is truly unbearable. Look at me, Floating World, I have become so skinny these few years. The entire party left the city in a very short amount of time. They were laughing and chatting happily, as if they were taking a breather. Meanwhile, on the other side, Yi Juetian was very depressed. Looking at the sun gradually setting, he wondered what Yi was doing, whether she was anxious or not. Aya, why am I, Yi Juetian, worrying about a woman, so annoying? Mother, I am going out to take a walk. Yi Juetian said lightly. Lu Jing closed her eyes and said faintly, Where do you want to go? I am just taking a walk in the palace. Thinking of running again? Lu Jing asked in a low voice, a little unhappy. Mother, I am really not running, I am just taking a walk. Yi Juetian explained bitterly. He was really a little worried about Yi. Please don't let anything happen to her. You are not allowed. Yi Juetian. Mother, this time, I will definitely listen to you and Big Brother and obediently marry a wife. I promise that I will not run away. After saying that, Yi Juetian even swore. Lu Jing slowly opened her eyes, feeling that her son was a little strange today. Just what do you want to do outside? Lu Jing asked seriously. I am bored. There are many fun things to do in Voidless Empire. Your big brother has already gone to look for a girl for you. During this period of time, just wait patiently. After you get married, you can go out and have fun. Yi Juetian was very speechless. What kind of logic was mother using? Then, I will just take a walk in the palace, alright? Lu Jing paused for a moment, then slowly said, Alright, but remember if you run out, mother will not let you off. Don't worry. After saying that, Yi Juetian ran out of the house. Lu Jing shook her head. How old was he already? Yet his playfulness was still so big. Yi Juetian, who ran out, realized that the sky was starting to darken, so he hurriedly ran to the inn. I am coming. Yi Juetian shouted with a happy tone. The feeling of being remembered by a girl felt so good. However, there was no reply. Yi Juetian swept his gaze around the room, but there was no one at all. This time, Yi Juetian instantly panicked. Where is Yi? Yi Juetian hurriedly looked for the boss. This gave the boss a fright. His Majesty's expression is very fierce. Where is the girl in this room? Where did she go? Your Majesty, this girl went out at dusk. What? Yi Juetian cried out in shock. Yi actually ran out. Did she say what she was going to do? Yi Juetian coldly asked. A wave of worry suddenly appeared in his heart. He was very anxious, afraid that Yi met with bad people. The boss recalled for a moment, then said respectfully, Your Majesty, this lady said that she was going to look for someone, and she seemed to be very sad. Yi Juetian rubbed his forehead. This idiot, didn't I just come a bit late, and you ran away? Yi Juetian directly ran out of the inn and started to search for Yi on the streets and alleys. Looking at how anxious Yi was, even Yi Juetian himself did not know why he was so worried. Right now, the sky had already completely darkened. Wuxia Empire was brightly lit, and looks like it was also developing towards the direction of a city that never sleeps. There were more and more entertainment programs at night, and adding on the fact that many outsiders had settled down here, the popularity of Wuxia Empire was rapidly increasing. Due to the problem of his identity, Yi Juetian found it embarrassing to make a ruckus, and he could only rely on his intuition to search within Wuxia Empire. However, with such a big city, it would be hard for him to find Yi in a short period of time. Chapter 1071. Quickly look. His Majesty seems to be looking for something? That's right, he seems to have been looking for 4 hours already. I wonder what treasure His Majesty dropped, for him to be in such a hurry. The citizens started discussing amongst themselves. Right now, Yi Juetian had already searched for 3 hours, but he did not see Yi's shadow at all, as if she had disappeared into thin air. Yi is so beautiful right now. What if someone captures Yi and then humiliates her? Thinking about the terrifying consequences, Yi Juetian felt very vexed and frustrated, wishing that he could loudly call out Yi's name. Gradually, Wuxia Empire's lights slowly extinguished, and everyone entered their sleep. Yi Juetian walked on the cold street, his expression a bit hesitant. Yi definitely met with an accident. Damn it! The weather is so cold, and Yi isn't wearing much, and she's so beautiful. F***ck. Yi Juetian fiercely stomped on the ground, and the ground instantly cracked. I really shouldn't have done this. With a disappointed expression, Yi Juetian walked towards the entrance of the palace. If Yi really met with an accident, I really won't be able to forgive myself. Suddenly, a faint sobbing sound entered Yi Juetian's ears. Yi Juetian was shocked. This sound! Yi Juetian hurriedly ran towards the source of the sound, and at the entrance of the palace, he saw a petite figure sitting on the ground. Looking at this figure, Yi Juetian felt that it was Yi. Yi Juetian madly ran over. Yi's white dress was already very dirty, and traces of blood could be seen on her arms. There were also traces of blood on the ground. Yi Juetian stood beside Yi, and his heart felt a bit sour. Yi, who was sitting on the ground, seemed to have felt that there was someone beside her, and she slowly raised her head. When she saw Yi Juetian, even more tears flowed out from her eyes. Yay! Yi directly pounced into Yi Juetian's embrace and hugged him fiercely, then cried out loudly. Yi Juetian's heart ached for Yi right now. He lightly hugged the girl in his embrace and consoled her softly. Yi, don't cry, I'm here. Yay, where did you go? I couldn't even find you. Yi choked with sobs as she asked, her tears drenching Yi Juetian's chest. Yi, I'm sorry, I was careless. Why are you injured? Yi Juetian asked in a deep voice. There was actually someone who dared to hurt Yi. How could their hearts be so vicious, to actually bully an ordinary girl? Yi pitifully said, I want to go in and find you, but these people won't let me. Yi Juetian looked at the black-armored warrior at the entrance of the palace. So it was Yi who wanted to go in and look for him. Indeed, after waiting for an entire afternoon, Yi still did not see Yi Juetian come, so she went out to look for him. After finding out that the emperor was staying in this luxurious palace, Yi went to the palace gates and wanted to go in. However, after being pushed to the ground by the black-armored warrior over and over again, the scars on his arms were caused by the friction. Yi Juetian really wanted to give these black-armored warriors a good beating. They actually dared to bully a defenseless girl. How shameless! Yi, don't be afraid. Let's go back. Yes. The two of them returned to the tavern. Yi Juetian naturally wanted to treat Yi's injuries. Seeing that the wound on her arm had healed in an instant, Yi revealed a sweet smile. Yay, you're amazing. Seeing that Yi revealed such a smile, Yi Juetian forced out a smile. Upon thinking about how Yi was pushed down by the black-armored warrior, Yi Juetian felt uncomfortable in his heart. Yay, I'm sorry, did I make you lose face? Yi seemed to have sensed something and said disappointedly. Yi Juetian stretched out his hand and stroked Yi's hair. No, how could you make me lose face? They all say that I am very stupid, and I also feel that I am very stupid. Yi lowered his head and said, Whoever dares to say that you are stupid, I will beat that person up. Yi Juetian patted on his chest and guaranteed. Yi lightly bit onto her lips and did not say anything. Right at this moment, Yi Hua's voice rang out in Yi Juetian's mind. Where did you run off to this time? Yi Hua questioned coldly. Yi Juetian held onto his forehead. I just found Yi, and I didn't even have the chance to say a few words to her. Big brother, I am at the palace.
Who are you lying to?
You are at the palace. Hurry up and come back. Mother is looking for you. All right, I will come back immediately. After cutting off the communication, Yi Juetian looked at Yi, who was in front of him, not knowing what to say, and not knowing how to start the conversation. Are you leaving again? Yi asked in a low voice.
Yi Juetian let out a sigh and lightly held onto that pair of slender and delicate hands of Yi.
Yi, I am going back. Yi Juetian said apologetically. Yi mustered up her courage and said, Yay, can you bring me back together with you? I don't want to leave you. Yi, listen to me, I can't right now, but can you give me a bit of time? Yi Juetian felt that he must have gone mad. Why would he say such a thing? Yay, I believe everything that you say, and I will listen to everything that you say. However, please don't abandon me, all right? I have decided to follow you, and I have decided to follow you forever. Yi said with incomparable sincerity. This caused Yi Juetian, who had never been in a relationship, to feel very touched. In actuality, when Yi Juetian saw how Yi was acting at the entrance of the palace to look for him, his heart had already loosened up. At the start, he was attracted by Yi's beauty, and then he was moved by Yi. Right now it was still the same. After all, Yi Juetian had never been in a relationship before, and it was very easy for him to be moved. Yi Juetian stretched out his hand and wiped away the tears that were at the corner of Yi's eyes. And I won't. I will wait for you to come back. Yi said tenderly with a reassuring smile. Yi Juetian took in a deep breath and stood up. He suddenly took out a bamboo tube that was the size of a finger. Yi, take this. Yay, what is this? This is a sound transmission. When I am free, I will look for you. However, you must not take the initiative to contact me, understand? Yi Juetian carefully instructed. If Big Brother and Mother were to find out about this, it would be troublesome. Yi tightly held onto the small bamboo tube and nodded her head. I understand. Yi Juetian lightly hugged Yi, then disappeared from the room. Sensing that the warmth had disappeared, Yi slowly opened her eyes. Looking at the small bamboo tube in her hand, she walked to the side of the window and opened the window. From this angle, the majestic imperial palace could be seen, but in Yi's eyes, this imperial palace was just like a dividing line. Yi Juetian quickly rushed back to his mother's bedroom. Lu Jing's bedroom was brightly lit, and inside the bedroom, Yi Hua and the others were all present. Yi Juetian swallowed his saliva, then respectfully shouted out, Mother, Big Brother, 3 sisters-in-law. Where did you go? Lu Jing asked faintly. Yi Hua looked at his little brother with a stern face. Mother told you to stay in the palace first, and yet, you brat, you ran away and disappeared without a trace. Do you think that Mother's words are bullshit? In Yi Hua's heart, listening to the words of the elders was something that couldn't be any more normal, especially when the elder was his biological mother. Chapter 1072. I, the Supreme Overlord, can choose not to listen to my wife's words, but I, the Supreme Overlord, have decided to listen to my mother's words. This is a kind of respect and filial piety. Yi Juetian hurriedly explained, I was just taking a walk outside to experience the customs of the people so that I can help Big Bro in the future. Qingya and the others didn't make a sound, and they appeared to be very well behaved because Yi Hua had flown into a rage. They felt that Yi Hua's temper didn't come from nowhere, and their granny's temper seemed to be the same as well. Towards those who were disobedient, their granny would definitely not be careless. Tell me the truth, Lu Jing said in a deep voice. Mother, this is the truth. Your son doesn't dare to lie to you. Yi Juetian's heart was beating like a drum. He couldn't have been discovered, right? Lu Jing sighed deeply and slowly closed her eyes. Of course, Yi Hua knew what his mother meant. His mother wanted him to deal with this matter. Kneel down, Yi Hua said coldly. Yi Juetian was completely confused, and he stupidly asked, Big Brother? I told you to kneel. Do you hear me or not? Yi Hua shouted out coldly, and a powerful pressure immediately pressed down onto Yi Juetian. How could Yi Juetian possibly be able to withstand it? Yi Juetian knew that his mother and big brother were not playing around, so he quickly knelt beside his mother. Speak. What did you do today? Yi Hua questioned. Big brother, I really didn't do anything. You're still lying. Do you still have any respect for mother and big brother? Yi Hua was immediately exposed, and his pair of eyes were about to spew fire. For a woman, he actually deceived his own family. He really wanted to hang her up and whip her. Today, the rumors that were spreading in the city had already reached Yi Hua's ears. During dinner time, Yi Hua was still bewildered. I didn't even go out, so why would there be an affair happening? And Yi Hua immediately thought of my younger brother. She had never expected that her brother would pick up a woman on the street, and even get a room with her the moment he entered the city. He had even tricked his mother into going out to look for that woman. Now, he was still hiding it from her. It seemed like this younger brother of his was simply bewitched. Lu Jing said in a low voice, Jutian, what's that girl called? Yi Juetian's heart sank. Had he been discovered? Mother. He is just a pitiful girl. Yi Juetian hurriedly explained. You're deceiving your mother for a pitiful girl? Lu Jing questioned in a solemn voice. No, it's not like that. I'm just helping her out of kindness. I don't have any other intentions. Yi Juetian did not even think about it and hurriedly distanced himself from Yi. This was not because he was afraid, but because he wanted to protect Yi. Lu Jing said faintly, It's best if that's the case. From now on, you are grounded. Grounded? Yi Juetian found this hard to believe. Was there a need to be so vicious? Yi Hua said gravely, Not just any woman can marry into Yi family, Jutian. You know this. Not to mention it's an ordinary woman. If you want to find a woman, Big Brother is already looking for outstanding ones for you. Just wait and see. If it was before today, Yi Juetian would be very happy. The woman that his big brother found for him would definitely be very powerful. But now, he didn't think like that. His mind was filled with that weak and beautiful figure, and she seemed so helpless. But what could he do? Big brother, I understand. Yi Juetian nodded. He could not continue to interact with Yi, or else his big brother might do something to Yi. This was something that he did not want to see. Yi Hua stretched out his palm. Yi Juetian raised his head and looked at his elder brother in confusion. Hand it over. Yi Hua said coldly. What? What? I dare you to say that again. Yi Hua's gaze turned cold. Still acting. Yi Juetian obediently took out the small bamboo tube from his pocket, then placed it onto his big brother's hand. Yi Hua looked at Yi Juetian coldly, and the small bamboo tube that was in his hand instantly turned into dregs. You are still a bit too inexperienced. Qian Yuqing, who was at the side, looked at the current Yi Juetian and slightly wrinkled her brows. The current Yi Juetian is very abnormal. Could it be that he really fell in love with that girl? Go back and think about it properly. Don't force Big Brother to do something that will make you unhappy. Yi Hua said gravely. Big Brother, I understand. Go back and rest. Yi Juetian stood up, then said respectfully, Mother sister-in-law, I will go back first. Lu Jing nodded her head, then instructed lightly, Don't cause any more trouble. All right. After finished speaking, Yi Juetian left. When he arrived at his own palace, Yi Juetian discovered that there was a barrier set up here, and judging from the strength of the barrier, it was personally created by his big brother. As long as one steps into the barrier, one can forget about coming out. However, upon thinking about his big brother's words, Yi Juetian still chose to walk into the barrier. This might be fate, but not fate. I'm sorry. Mother, you should rest early. Yi Hua said lightly. You all should go back and rest first. For the sake of Juetian, I still haven't slept yet. As the big sister, Qingye took the lead and said, Mother, we will be going back first. We will come and accompany you tomorrow morning. All right. Lu Jing said with a slight smile. When looking for a daughter-in-law, one must look for someone like Qingye, who is knowledgeable, dignified and virtuous, who would be able to help her son no matter what. Only this kind of person would have the qualifications to step into the door of Yi family. Yi Hua brought along his 3 wives and walked out of his mother's palace. Right now, Daji had already become Lu Jing's personal maid. The main reason why Yi Hua wanted Daji to properly protect his mother was because eating like this would allow him to be at ease. After returning to his mother's palace, under the service of his 3 wives, Yi Hua took off his clothes. This was definitely the enjoyment of an emperor. However, tonight, Qian Yuqing was very nervous, and when she was helping Yi Hua take off his clothes, her hands were trembling. "Qingya, what do you think about this matter?" Yi Hua suddenly asked. In actuality, Qingya understood what Yi Hua meant. The current situation was not normal, and it was not as casual as it was in the past. Furthermore, Yi Juetian was Yi Hua's blood-related younger brother, and Yi Hua definitely placed a lot of importance on marriage. However, as a modern person, love should be free, and it shouldn't be restricted by one's family background. "Actually, I feel that." Before Qingya could finish speaking, Yi Hua said faintly, "There's no need to say any more. Yuqing, what do you think?" Qian Yuqing went into a daze, then said, "A well-matched match." Qian Yuqing lived in the god's realm, and since young, she had been instilled with some principles. A well-matched match was the foundation, and back then, she and Yi Hua were also a well-matched match.
I have already asked people to inquire about it. That woman has been in Wuxia Empire for a period of time, and the things that she has done are unsightly, and she doesn't even have the appearance of a woman.
It is impossible for such a woman to marry into Yi family, Yi Hua said very resolutely. In actuality, from the fact that Yi Hua found wives for his subordinates, even Yi Hong found a deity-level wife, and this was even his blood-related younger brother. How could Yi Hua not care about it? Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were helpless. Since Yi Hua has already said it, it will be very hard for him to change his mind.
Qian Yuqing lowered her head and remained silent.
"Go and sleep," Yi Hua said faintly. Donghuang Baiji laughed. "I won't disturb the 2 of you then." Chapter 1073. Yi Hua didn't have the mood to mess around today, thus he said faintly, "What are you talking about being free and unfettered? I am just sleeping." "Mother said that you and Yuqing are going to get pregnant," Qingya said with a light smile. "This matter isn't urgent. Let's deal with Yi Juetian's matter first," Yi Hua said calmly. Qian Yuqing, who was at the side, was a little disappointed. "Why hasn't Yi Hua touched me?" Both Qingya and Donghuang Baiji didn't know what Yi Hua was trying to do. Leaving a great beauty alone and not touching her is very strange. In actuality, Yi Hua was really not in the mood today. Just thinking about it makes me angry. My blood-related younger brother actually picked up a dirty woman from the street and went to get a room with her, and in the end, he even lied to her. Just thinking about it makes me so angry that I want to give him a slap. Yi Hua was the first to lie on the bed. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji then took off their clothes. As for Qian Yuqing, who had just arrived here, she was a bit unable to let go of herself. She stood at her original spot and looked at Yi Hua foolishly. Yi Hua's gaze looked towards Qian Yuqing, who was in a daze, and seemed to be asking, "What are you still doing? Are you going to stand for the whole night?" However, Qian Yuqing slightly misunderstood Yi Hua's meaning. "Yi Hua is like a tyrant staring at you. Hurry up and take off your clothes." In order to not make Yi Hua angry, Qian Yuqing could only take off her clothes one by one with grievance. Needless to say, taking it off in slow motion was exceptionally tasteful. Even Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were stupefied by what they saw. That wronged look on Donghuang Baiji's face caused others to feel pity for her. "Yuqing, come over." Donghuang Baiji waved her hand and gave her position to Qian Yuqing. Before Qian Yuqing could even react, she was already pushed into Yi Hua's embrace by Donghuang Baiji. Yi Hua's mood became much better. "This is the result that I, the Supreme Overlord, wanted the 2 of them to take the initiative to push Qian Yuqing into my embrace. This is the rhythm, and I still have to pretend to be unwilling. TSK, TSK, TSK. Leaning against Yi Hua's side, Qian Yuqing was very nervous. This was really the first time that Qian Yuqing was leaning against Yi Hua's side. That kind of feeling that Qian Yuqing's skin was touching Yi Hua's skin gave off a peculiar feeling, just like getting an electric shock. "Yuqing," Yi Hua said faintly. And Qian Yuqing rubbed her head and replied, "I am finally able to snuggle into Yi Hua's embrace. It feels so comfortable. Tomorrow, let's go and take a look and see just what kind of woman managed to make Yi Juetian so infatuated with her to this extent." Yi Hua said gravely. In fact, Qian Yuqing also wanted to meet him.
She answered very decisively. Yes, I understand.
The main thing is to see if he is a spy or not. If he is a spy, I will directly kill him. Yi Hua was very decisive when it came to killing. If I want to keep him alive, even if the Heavenly King wants to kill him, I won't let him die. But if he were to die, then even the heavens could not save him. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji didn't express their opinions. If they were to express their opinions right now, it would mean that they would be scolded by Yi Hua. What if he isn't a spy? Qian Yuqing asked in a low voice while lightly rubbing against Yi Hua's chest. So comfortable, Yi Hua pondered for a moment, then said faintly, let's see Absolute Heaven's reaction first. If he continues to persist in going about things the wrong way, then just send him away. If he lets go, then don't bother with him anymore. All three women felt that this suggestion was fine. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji let out a sigh of relief. We were just afraid that Yi Hua would suddenly say that he wants to kill someone. Right now, we still don't know what exactly is going to happen. Yi Hua let out a deep sigh, then gradually fell asleep. I must hurry up and settle the matter of Yi Juetian's marriage so that my mother won't be worried anymore. The next morning, under the three empresses' service, Yi Hua put on the emperor's gown. Right now, Yi Hua still had long hair, and when paired with the emperor's gown, he was simply indescribably handsome. At the very least, the three empresses were mesmerized by Yi Hua. The long-haired Yi Hua had an enigmatic attractiveness. Right now, Yi Hua was having breakfast together with his mother. There was nothing that could be said about Blood Demon's culinary skills. When the stir-fried rice noodle was praised by Lu Jing, Blood Demon was terrified. To be able to be praised by his honor's mother, that would be the honor of his entire life. After breakfast, Qian Yuqing had to go and handle some matters. However, before that, Qian Yuqing didn't anxiously go and look for Yi. Instead, she went to look for Yi Juetian first. After arriving at Yi Juetian's palace, Yi Juetian could be seen sitting in the garden and daydreaming. He had been sitting there since yesterday night. Qian Yuqing could be heard laughing lightly. Aya, so little Tian knows how to think about girls too. Yi Juetian went into a daze.
When he saw that his sister-in-law had arrived, he hurriedly stood up and shouted, Sister-in-law.
Qian Yuqing slowly sat beside Yi Juetian and looked at Wuxia Empire's sky. I'm going to see her later, Qian Yuqing said softly.
Yi Juetian's heart sank and said with a pleading tone, Sister-in-law, Yi really doesn't know anything, please don't make things difficult for her.
AI. Looks like he has truly fallen in love with her. Looking at Yi Juetian's appearance, Qian Yuqing was very clear. Yi Juetian lowered his head and didn't say anything. He didn't want to admit it, fearing that something might happen. What? You won't even tell the truth to sister-in-law? Qian Yuqing said softly. Sister-in-law, will you tell eldest brother? Qian Yuqing didn't say anything. After a while she said, I have to see if she's worth your effort. Sister-in-law, Yi is really a good girl, really. Yi Juetian instantly spoke up for Yi. This man, if he really fell in love with a woman, she would be all sorts of good and have no flaws at all. Qian Yuqing asked back, how long have you known each other? We. Yi Juetian was speechless. Not even a day. Do you know her that well? She couldn't remember anything. What did she do in the past? Are you a spy who has come to harm your elder brother? Is she trying to make use of you? Have you ever thought about all of these? There was nothing wrong with what Qian Yuqing said. All of these were possible.
Yi Juetian clenched his teeth and said gravely, Sister-in-law, I dare to use my life to guarantee that Yi is definitely not that kind of person.
In Yi Juetian's heart, a person's eyes wouldn't lie. Yi's eyes were very clear. She was definitely not a bad person. Let's talk about it after I go and take a look. Do you have any words that you want me to bring over? I don't know what to say. Qian Yuqing patted onto Yi Juetian's shoulder. Xiaotian, it isn't that sister-in-law doesn't support me, but your elder brother won't listen to me. Mother and elder brother are very sensitive towards this matter. You have to be mentally prepared.
Sister-in-law, I understand.
Yi Juetian nodded his head. So this was how it felt to like a girl. He would worry for her, wonder if she was hungry, if she had slept well, if she had put on more clothes before going out, and if she had done anything stupid. Qian Yuqing stood up and walked out of the palace. From the looks of it, this barrier is only effective against Yi Juetian alone. Qian Yuqing directly arrived at the tavern. After all, Qian Yuqing's strength was very strong, and teleportation like this was something that she could easily accomplish. Standing in the tavern, Qian Yuqing looked at the bed.
Yi, who was on the bed, was still sleeping soundly, and there were traces of moisture at the corner of her eyes.
Her right hand was tightly holding onto the small bamboo tube, and she had been waiting the entire time. A sharp sword instantly condensed in Qian Yuqing's hand.
Killing intent blossomed out, and the sharp sword in her hand immediately pierced out without the slightest bit of hesitation.
Chapter 1074. A cold glint shot straight towards Yi's white jade neck.
The sharp sword did not pierce through Yi's throat and stopped on her skin bit by bit.
But right now, Yi did not even frown, and her eyelashes did not even tremble. Facing an overlord's assassination, only an overlord would be able to remain so shamelessly calm. However, even if it was an overlord, they would still resist. Qian Yuqing was naturally probing. From this initial probing, she felt that this Yi shouldn't be that kind of spy. After dissolving the sharp sword, Qian Yuqing sat on the wooden stool and looked at Yi, who was lying on the bed. This girl's appearance is indeed astonishing. No wonder little Tian likes her so much. It can't be that he only did this because he took a fancy to her good looks, right? Of course, good looks are one of the reasons, but it's not like Yi Juetian has never seen good looks before, and his taste had long become better. However, Yi was the first woman who was good-looking and treated him well, which was why Yi Juetian liked her. Although he had not been in contact with her for long, the feeling he got from her was very good, as if he had known her for a very long time. Qian Yuqing didn't know what was going on, and felt that little Tian only took a fancy to her good looks. Little Tian is a deity and is also a man of Yi family, so his wife is definitely not an ordinary person. However, other than this girl's good looks, there is nothing else about her. It is impossible for her to enter Yi family. Actually, in Yi Hua's heart, deity Yi family and Wuxia Empire's Yi family were two different things. After sitting for a while, Qian Yuqing decided to wake up Yi, who was lying on the bed. Yi knitted her brows and slowly opened her eyes. She immediately raised her hand and looked towards the small bamboo tube in her hand. Just now when I was dreaming, I seemed to have heard the bamboo tube ringing. However, right now, I didn't hear it at all. Cough. Qian Yuqing coughed lightly. Yi was startled. She saw an unfamiliar woman sitting beside the table, and the woman was very beautiful. Yi could be seen immediately sitting up, grabbing onto the bedding tightly as she asked nervously, "Who are you?" Yi's reaction was seen by Qian Yuqing. This woman is indeed capable of making one feel pity for her. This little Tian had never experienced such a thing before, and it was unavoidable for him to have a desire to protect her. "Don't worry, I won't hurt you," Qian Yuqing said softly. Her gentle tone made Yi feel slightly relieved. "Really?" Yi asked back. Qian Yuqing seemed to have somewhat understood why Xiao Tian would like her. This kind of delicate and pitiful look would cause a man to want to protect her uncontrollably, and within this look, there was also a kind of silly personality, appearing especially naive and not scheming at all. "Really?" Qian Yuqing nodded. She had a preliminary understanding. Yi exhaled, put on her shoes, and walked to the side of the table. Puzzled, she asked, "Why are you looking for me?" Qian Yuqing was considering whether to tell Yi that it was impossible for her and little Tian to be together. If she was willing to let go, little Tian would definitely not pester her. However, this was just a thought. Qian Yuqing did not intend to do so for the time being. "I am Yi Juetian's sister-in-law." Qian Yuqing directly revealed her identity. "Ah, you are Ye's sister-in-law." Yi cried out and panicked, not knowing what to do. She poked at her clothes and hurriedly took out a cup to pour some water. However, her hands were not steady and the water splashed onto Qian Yuqing's clothes. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Yi hurriedly apologized and wiped the water away in a flurry. Qian Yuqing let out a breath. With Yi's current appearance, it was really difficult. Yi family still paid a lot of attention to their appearance. "Yi, it's all right, you sit first." Qian Yuqing did not mind and said lightly. With an apologetic look, Yi lowered her head and sat opposite of Qian Yuqing. Do you like Xiao Tian? Qian Yuqing asked lightly. Yi raised her head and looked towards Qian Yuqing, then said softly, Ye is the first person who truly cares about me, I am willing to leave with him. In actuality, no matter if it was in Kangluo continent or God's realm, women were still rather traditional. If they liked someone, they liked him, if they didn't like him, they didn't like him. At least, that was what Yi thought. When I was being mocked and humiliated by others, he was the one who helped me. That was why I am willing to do anything for him. Hearing what Yi said, Qian Yuqing felt that they have feelings for each other. If that's the case, then there will be trouble. Right now, I can either cut the Gordian knot, or, this matter is really hard to decide. I should first go back and tell Yihua about it and see what Yihua's attitude is. I feel that this Yi is still all right. If Yihua is able to agree to it, I will definitely be able to convince my mother. However, right now, Yihua and my mother are standing on the same side. Yi didn't know what to call Qian Yuqing and directly shouted out, Sister-in-law, did something happen to Ye? Qian Yuqing was startled. You can even guess this if I don't know. I would think that you two have been together for a very long time. Nothing happened. Xiao Tian has been very busy recently, so he didn't have time to come and see you. Qian Yuqing could only say that. After hearing that, Yi nodded her head, but in her heart, she was still a bit disappointed. I know, Ye had already told me yesterday. I will be leaving first. Seeing that Qian Yuqing was about to leave, Yi hurriedly asked, Sister-in-law, when will Ye have time to come and see me? Qian Yuqing paused for a moment, then said unhurriedly, It will be very soon. Thank you, sister-in-law. Yi didn't know that Qian Yuqing was lying to her, and the naive Yi believed everything that Qian Yuqing said. Just like that, Qian Yuqing disappeared from the room and directly went to look for Yihua. Meanwhile, Yihua was currently in a boring waiting period. He was sitting in the garden, and Qingya was accompanying him by the side, while Donghuang Baiji was brewing tea. Yihua, I am back. Qian Yuqing's body appeared beside Yihua. Yihua nodded his head and asked faintly, How is it? Qingya and Donghuang Baiji looked towards Qian Yuqing. They were very curious about what kind of girl Yi Juetian likes. Qian Yuqing pursed her lips and said lightly, Yihua, she is just an ordinary person, I have tried to probe her, but this girl is indeed beautiful, but she also has a weak side to her, it seems like. Seems like what? Yihua asked faintly. Seems like she likes Xiao Tian a lot. Qian Yuqing straightforwardly said. After hearing that, Yihua's brows wrinkled, then asked again, Yuqing, how do you think we should deal with the two of them? Yihua, this girl's identity is just ordinary. Everything else about her is still all right. I feel that it should be fine to let the two of them interact with each other. Qian Yuqing still chose to help Yi Juetian. After all, she had watched Yi Juetian grow up, and Yi Juetian was more or less like a blood-related younger brother. Now that there is a girl that Yi Juetian likes, no matter what, she has to support Yi Juetian. After hearing that, Yihua's expression sunk, then said faintly, I will take it that you didn't say that. Qian Yuqing didn't say anything. Seems like Yihua still doesn't agree to it. However, Yihua was currently pondering. Hearing Qian Yuqing's description, this girl called Yi should be a bit similar to Dongfang Yuer. Chapter 1075. Back then, Dongfang Yuan was also soft and weak, and even Zhu Tian couldn't control himself. And this Yi's appearance was above Dongfang Yuan-er's, so how could I, as her biological younger brother, resist? If he isn't my biological younger brother, then let him be. Since he is my biological younger brother, I naturally have to choose the best one. It is definitely impossible for an ordinary person. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji didn't say anything, but in their hearts, they felt that Yihua's actions were a bit too extreme. Especially Qingya. Back then, I was also just an ordinary girl. Didn't I still get deceived by you? Now that little Tian likes an ordinary girl, you don't want to let him have his way. This is really incomprehensible. Qingya felt that she was ordinary. But was she really ordinary? Qingya, who had Nuwa's bloodline, was destined to not be ordinary. Back then, Donghuang Baiji was still an empress, and she had Donghuang's bloodline. If one were to say ordinary, only Qing Yutong was slightly ordinary, but she was still a flower in the system world. All in all, Yihua's women all had their own outstanding points. None of them were ordinary. Yihua, what do you plan to do now? Keeping little Tian locked up isn't a solution. Donghuang Baiji said a fair sentence. Yihua also knew that this wasn't a long-term solution, and he had to think of a solution, just that he hadn't thought of one yet. 3 days passed by very quickly. In the middle of the night, Yi stood beside the window, looking very miserable.
Especially those eyes that were looking at the palace, they were clearly right in front of her. Yet she felt that they were thousands of miles apart.
Looking at the small bamboo tube in his hand, it has already been 3 days, and Ye didn't say a single word to me. Sister-in-law said that Ye is very busy, and she definitely doesn't have time to talk to me. That must be the case. When Ye is done with her work, she will naturally be able to talk to me, and that will be enough. I just have to wait a bit more.
Meanwhile, in the palace, Yi Juetian was still sitting in the garden, looking towards the direction of the tavern.
It has already been 3 days. I wonder how Yi is doing. She wouldn't barge into the palace like last time, right? This silly girl, you are just an ordinary person. Don't do stupid things, those black-armored soldiers will kill you. Yi Juetian originally thought that he would be fine after calming down for a few days. Maybe it was just a moment of impulse. However, not only did he not stop for the past 3 days, he even missed her even more and worried about her. It was as if he could not live without her. It seemed that he was really poisoned by love. Now, he could understand sister-in-law's feelings. This feeling was really unbearable. What are you thinking about? A familiar voice entered Yi Juetian's ears.
Yi Juetian respectfully called out, "Sister-in-law."
Chen Yuqing smiled and sat beside Yi Juetian.
She asked indifferently, "It has already been 3 days.
Have you thought it through?" Sister-in-law, did Big Brother ask you to ask me?
Yi Juetian pouted and asked.
No. Chen Yuqing shook her head.
Of course, Yi Juetian believed in his sister-in-law.
Is Yi all right?
She's pretty good.
I went to see her last time. She's a pretty good girl. Chen Yuqing said lightly. However, it was useless for me to agree to it. In this family, it seems like my mother is the boss, but in actuality, Yihua is the boss. However, if mother were to relent, Yihua would most likely listen to her. However, mother was also very persistent and very angry. Sister-in-law, do you also think Yi is good? Yi Juetian seemed to be very excited. There was finally someone who had the same thoughts as him.
It was as if he had found a comrade who shared the same ideals.
Chen Yuqing smiled and nodded her head. After a long while, Yi Juetian said seriously, "Sister-in-law, I don't want Big Brother to introduce me anymore." Back then, Yi Juetian was the one who wanted Big Brother to introduce a girl to him, but right now he changed his mind. After all, he met someone that he liked. However, right now, Yihua had already sent his subordinates out to look for a girl. This is definitely not a joke.
Whatever you say, it will be done.
Who do you think Big Brother is? Do you think that Big Brother subordinates are so free that their balls hurt? Do you think that they are all helping you look for women to play with? Chen Yuqing said gravely, "Shoo, little Tian, don't let your Big Brother hear what you said, if not, Yi might be in danger." Big Brother can't possibly kill Yi. That's impossible. Yi Juetian felt that his Big Brother wasn't that kind of person. However, Yihua really wasn't that kind of person. Hee. Back then, Yihua had also threatened Wei Chong and Lai Gu verbally, telling their women to be more well-behaved, if not, he would directly kill them. Don't think that this was just a joke. Yihua was definitely serious. "Those who dare to obstruct my plans, I will kill them." Qingya said, "If you infuriate your Big Brother, he will really do such a thing." Chen Yuqing said cautiously. During these few days, she had discussed with Qingya and Donghuang Baiji to see if there was a way to solve this problem that would satisfy both sides. At this time, Yi Juetian recalled that day, when Big Brother massacred over 10,000 ordinary people. He did not even blink his eyes at all. "Sister-in-law, what should I do now?" Yi Juetian was a bit afraid right now. He was afraid that Big Brother would secretly kill Yi. "Little Tian, I have discussed with Qingya and the others, in front of your Big Brother, you must not mention Yi. The more you treat Yi coldly, the better it will be for Yi, understand? Treat Yi coldly." Yi Juetian mumbled. "Sister-in-law, I want to talk to Yi. Can you help me?"
Yi Juetian asked with a pleading tone, and that helpless little gaze of his truly made one sigh. Qian Yuqing nodded her head, then secretly passed a mirror to Yi Juetian. Hide this properly, don't let your big brother find out about this, if not, I will be in trouble too. Sister-in-law, I understand, thank you. Idiot back then, you helped big sister-in-law quite a bit, so it is only right for big sister-in-law to help you. Yi Juetian revealed out a smile however, this smile seemed to be very bitter. All right, big sister-in-law will send the mirror over to Yi and let you two talk. Qian Yuqing said with a teasing tone. In the past, you often laughed at big sister-in-law's infatuation, and now, you should have experienced it yourself, right? Yi Juetian's face turned red. Sister-in-law is truly mischievous, taking revenge on me. Qian Yuqing left and became a spy. However, at a dark corner, Yi Hua's face was gloomy. These three women. They actually went against me. Their guts are truly getting fatter and fatter. Especially this Qian Yuqing, she actually became a traitor. Very good, you three are the ones who forced me to do this. At this moment, Qian Yuqing arrived at Yi's room. Sister-in-law. Yi had not slept yet, and she was currently looking at the small bamboo tube on the table. Qian Yuqing felt that this girl really likes little Tian. It doesn't matter if this girl doesn't have any background, the most important thing is for the two of them to be in love with each other. Take this mirror. Qian Yuqing did not say anything and directly took out the mirror and passed it to Yi. Sister-in-law this is? Yi, little Tian will not be coming out to meet you for the time being. This is your temporary method of contact. I will be leaving first. After finished speaking, Qian Yuqing disappeared, afraid that she would be discovered by Yi Hua. Chapter 1076. Sister-in-law. Qian Yuqing still wanted to ask when she would be able to see Ye again. Yi. A familiar voice rang out. Yi immediately looked towards the mirror in her hands, and Yi Juetian's handsome little face appeared in the mirror. Ye. Is it really you? Yi immediately became emotional as she tightly held onto the exquisite mirror in her hands. Big tears flowed down her cheeks. It has been 3 days since I last saw him, and it felt like 3 spring and autumn had passed. And it's me. Yi, how have you been these few days? Yi Juetian was also very emotional right now. He wished that he could break the barrier and rush to Yi's side, hug this girl into his embrace, and properly protect her. And good Ye, are you still busy? Did I disturb you? Hearing Yi's guilty tone, Yi Juetian felt very uncomfortable. No, you didn't disturb me. That's good. I heard from others that the people who live in the palace are all very busy and have to deal with a lot of big matters. Idiot, don't cry, it was I who disturbed you. Yi Juetian laughed and said. Just talking like this made him feel very happy. No, Ye didn't disturb me. Yi said very seriously, but when this seriousness landed into Yi Juetian's eyes, he felt very sad. During this night, the two of them kept chatting, and they even talked about the future. They were both very happy, and they were also filled with hope towards the future. However, inside Yi Hua's bedroom, Yi Hua pretended that he didn't know anything and opened his arms, while his 3 wives were helping him take off his clothes. Yuqing, where did you go just now? Yi Hua asked faintly. Qian Yuqing was startled, but she quickly calmed down and said with a gentle smile, I went to see little Tian, then I went to prepare the food for tomorrow's breakfast. Thank you for your hard work. Yi Hua revealed a trace of a smile, but this smile wasn't a real smile. However, Qian Yuqing didn't know that this was the first time she lied to Yi Hua, and she was so nervous. Will I be beaten to death by Yi Hua? After taking off his clothes, Yi Hua laid on the big bed, and the 3 wives that were as beautiful as goddesses laid beside him. Yi Hua hugged Qian Yuqing in his embrace, and his hands weren't idle at all. To actually dare to lie to me, the 3 of you are good. Your guts are not ordinary. Yuqing. Yi Hua called lightly. A layer of redness appeared on Qian Yuqing's white skin. There was no helping it. Yi Hua was taking advantage of her. Yi Hua. Qian Yuqing couldn't help but say while trembling. How is little Tian's reaction today? Yi Hua asked faintly. Along with this question, Qian Yuqing shivered and held onto Yi Hua's arm tightly. After a long time, Qian Yuqing said in a low voice, It's much better than before. That's good. I will ask him tomorrow. Go to sleep. Yihua said lightly. Chen Yuqing was very depressed. Why wasn't he touching her yet? He had already touched everything that needed to be touched. He was just missing the last bit. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji felt that something was amiss. After all, they had been husband and wife for so many years, and they were able to figure out what Yihua was thinking. The next morning, Yi Juetian stretched and was in a good mood. He felt that his relationship with Yi was becoming better and better. This stupid woman could really make people happy. However, right at this moment, his big brother's voice rang out in Yi Juetian's mind. Come and have breakfast with mother. Yi Juetian went into a daze, then hurriedly responded. The barrier outside had disappeared. Is big brother planning to let me go? This is great. Right now, Yi Juetian wished that he could immediately run out and hug Yi tightly. However, his rationality told him that he couldn't do that. If he were to do that, he would definitely anger his mother and big brother. At that time, Yi would be in danger. Suppressing the impulse in his heart, Yi Juetian walked towards his mother's bedroom. Big brother and sister-in-law could be seen at the door. After walking in, Yi Juetian shouted out respectfully, Mother, big brother, sister-in-law. Little Tian. Sit. Lu Jing said gently. Yi Juetian sat beside Lu Jing and sneaked a glance at his big brother. Seeing that his expression was normal, Yi Juetian finally let out a breath of relief. Afterward, Yi Juetian sneaked a glance at his big sister-in-law, seemingly asking what happened today. Did big brother's brain go haywire? Chen Yuqing did not say anything, but she used her gaze to warn Yi Juetian not to speak recklessly. I don't feel right today. Right now, Lu Jing was eating the steamed dumplings that Blood Demon made. The dumplings were dipped in soy sauce, and the taste was very delicious. Little Tian, how is your reflection these few days? Lu Jing asked. Yi Juetian placed down his chopsticks and said earnestly, I have thought it through clearly. Big brother and mother are both doing this for my own good, therefore, I will listen to your arrangements and will not think about anything else. Lu Jing was very satisfied with this kind of promise, and Yihua nodded his head. Chen Yuqing let out a breath of relief. You are smart, you know to advance in order to retreat. This is the only way to protect Yi. At this time, Yihua asked faintly, Little Tian, what you mean to say is that you don't like that girl anymore? Big brother, I just had a sudden impulse. It's just a 3 minutes of passion. After that, I will be fine. Yi Juetian said earnestly. Yihua had a very gratified look on his face. Little Tian, big brother is very happy that you are able to say this. In a few more days, there should be news coming over, and at that time, you will be able to choose who you want. After getting along with her for a period of time, you will be able to form a family, and at that time, you will be able to conquer the world together with big brother. And big brother, I understand. Yi Juetian patted on his chest, but in his heart, he was thinking about other things. At that time, I will just say that I am not satisfied, I can only do this. After dinner, Yi Juetian obediently went back to his bedroom, and discovered that the barrier had really disappeared. Does that mean that I can sneak out of the palace now? Not good, not good. Big brother is very crafty. It is very possible that he is secretly monitoring me. I can't go out, right now is a crucial time. I definitely can't screw up. For the time being, I will use this mirror to chat and think of a way to go out. 5 days passed by very quickly. During these few days, Yi Juetian was very obedient, and he didn't even step out of the palace. Just by using the mirror to communicate, the two seemed to have endless topics to talk about, and their feelings for each other seemed to be getting deeper and deeper. On this night, the two were still chatting normally. Yay, I am going to sleep. Ah, you are going to sleep so early? Back then, the two of them chatted for a very, very long time, and they chatted to the point where they couldn't even open their eyes. With a mischievous smile on her face, Yi said, Anne, I will give you a surprise tomorrow. Surprise? What surprise? Tell me now. Nope, hurry up and tell me, if not, I will hit you. Don't want, I'm going to sleep. Yi straightforwardly cut off the connection. Yi Juetian laughed lightly. After getting to know Yi for the past few days, Yi Juetian found out that Yi was naive and romantic, and even had a bit of a silly taste to her. However, this kind of silliness seemed very cute. That's why, when beautiful women are silly, they are cute, and when ugly women are silly, they are really silly.
With a satisfied smile on her face, Yi went to sleep. I am looking forward to tomorrow's arrival. Ye will definitely be very happy. Chapter 1077. The next morning, Yi Hua brought his wives and mother to have breakfast together. Of course Yi Juetian was there too. Little Tian, your complexion seems to be quite good these few days. What made you so happy? Lu Jing asked curiously when she saw the smile on her son's face. Yi Juetian was naturally reminiscing about the time he spent with Yi. When I think about Big Brother introducing a girl to me, I feel very happy. Yi Juetian said casually. In actuality, he wasn't looking forward to it at all. Rather, he was looking forward to Yi's surprise. Yi Hua laughed lightly. You will definitely be satisfied. After saying that, Yi Hua continued. Recently, I discovered that there are still relatively few people serving in the palace. Little Tian is also going to get married soon, so I hired some palace maids to take care of some of the trivial matters in the palace. The three wives went into a daze. I never heard Yi Hua say anything about this matter. Why did he suddenly hire palace maids? After hearing that, Lu Jing smiled in satisfaction. Yi Hua, we indeed have to hire some maids. This way, the palace will seem more lively. Mother is right. After we finish eating, Mother, do you want to go and choose the palace maids for the palace? Yi Hua asked attentively. Although there was Daji serving by Lu Jing's side, Daji was, after all, a single person. Her workload was rather heavy, and Lu Jing liked those who were pleasing to the eye, not those who were eloquent. All right, I will go and choose a few later, Lu Jing said tenderly. Yi Hua then said to Yi Juetian, Little Tian, you go and choose a few later too. All right, Big Brother. Yi Juetian replied respectfully. Qingya and the others were all astonished. Is Yi Hua sending people to monitor Little Tian? After eating breakfast, Daji whispered into Yi Hua's ears. Mother, they are all here, they are just outside. Yi Hua said with a light smile. All right, Mother will go and take a look. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji supported Lu Jing on the left and right and walked out of the palace. The people standing outside the palace were all women who wore pink court attire. Their looks were delicate and their figures were alluring. They slightly lowered their heads, feeling very nervous in their hearts. This is Wuxia Empire's emperor. A supreme existence. To be able to serve him would be the honor of their lives. However, within the crowd, only one woman raised her head. Her gaze was filled with doubt. Right now, Yi Juetian and Chen Yuqing's expressions were stiff. They immediately saw Yi in the group. It couldn't be helped, Yi was too outstanding. How could Yi enter the palace? Yi Juetian's mind buzzed. No wonder Yi said that she wanted to give him a surprise. How could this be a surprise? This was even scarier than a scare. The imperial palace was a tiger's den. Why are you so foolish? Qingya and Donghuang Baiji both noticed the two's expressions, and in the end, they looked towards the most outstanding girl in the group. This girl should be that Yi, right? However, this should be arranged by Yi Hua. But just what is the intention behind Yi Hua's arrangement? Yi, who was in the team, looked at the two Yis. She felt very strange. Was she seeing things? Why were there two of them? But when Yi saw Yi, who was in the middle, she felt fear, but Yi, who was beside her, felt joy. The palace maid recruitment this time around was indeed arranged by Yi Hua. Yi's registration could be said to be a coincidence, because no one persuaded Yi to register. Yi had only heard that there was a way to enter the palace, and thus, she went to register. Yi Hua was very satisfied with the name list. This is fishing, those who are willing to take the bait. Little Tian, you are going to get married soon, you can choose first. Yi Hua said faintly. Hearing that, Yi Juetian's heart sunk. He completely did not understand what his big brother meant by this. However, when Yi heard that, she became joyous. Yi is going to marry me? I'm so happy, he even hid it from me, but luckily, I came today and heard it. Chen Yuqing was very worried, but it was not good for her to say anything right now. Lu Jing smiled and said, Little Tian, you can choose first. Yi Juetian was very nervous, and he really wanted to choose Yi. Looking at Yi's expectant gaze, Yi Juetian tightly clenched his teeth. Big brother is definitely testing me. Yi's appearance is definitely not a coincidence. Yi Juetian revealed out a smile and said, "Thank you, mother and big brother. Then little Tian will not be polite." Yi Juetian pointed at a few people, but Yi was not among those people. Yi Hua stood there and did not say anything. Qian Yuqing slightly let out a breath of relief. Little Tian is still rather rational. Yi, who was in the team, wrinkled her brows. Why didn't Yi choose me and chose another girl? Could it be that he didn't see me? That's not right. He clearly saw me, so why didn't he choose me? Little Tian, that girl is very beautiful. Why didn't you choose her? Lu Jing asked curiously. Yi Juetian said in a low voice, "Mother, beauty doesn't mean anything. In the end, it's just skin." Lu Jing chuckled. I didn't expect little Tian to have such an understanding. You've really grown up. Mother won't be polite then. At this moment, Yi was in a daze. What did Ye just say? My heart is in so much pain. Why did Ye say such a thing? After Lu Jing selected Yi, Qingye began to assign the others. After Yi Juetian finished choosing people, he left, as if he was not willing to stay for even a moment longer. However, Yi wanted to talk to Ye, but Ye's coldness made Yi's heart ache. She did not know what she had done wrong for Ye to ignore her. When Yi Hua saw this, he immediately left. Yi Juetian, who had returned to his own palace, tightly clenched his fists. How could such a thing happen? Was it Big Brother's doing? It must be. It had to be. Yi Juetian immediately took out a mirror and called Yi. Yi felt the vibration of the mirror and quickly hid to the side. Yi. Ye, are you not happy? Looking at Yi's wronged look, Yi Juetian felt that he shouldn't have done this. Yi, why did you appear here? A few days ago, I saw that the palace was recruiting palace maids, and I thought that since you are in the palace, if I were to come in, we would be able to meet each other every day. Thus I came here. No one forced you to come here? Yi Juetian asked puzzledly. Could it be that Big Brother didn't do this? Yi shook her head. No, I came here on my own. Yay, I'm sorry. I didn't listen to you again. Yi Juetian held onto his forehead. What should I do now? Yi could be seen slightly lowering her head, then asked while feeling wronged. Yay, why didn't you choose me just now? Yi, listen to me, you must listen to me seriously, do you understand? Yi Juetian didn't hide it anymore. If I still don't tell Yi, what would I do if Yi misunderstood? I will listen seriously. Yi, my big brother and my mother don't approve of us being together. Yi Juetian said gravely. Upon hearing that, Yi immediately asked, is there something that Yi didn't do well? I am able to change. Although I am a bit stupid, I will definitely be able to change if given some time. The more Yi said this, the more uncomfortable Yi Juetian felt in his heart. This isn't a problem of whether or not you can change. This is because you are just an ordinary girl. Chapter 1078. Yi, this isn't your problem. My big brother even found a fiancé for me. After hearing that, Yi became stupefied. Fiancé? So the wife that I was talking about just now wasn't me, but someone else. Yi? Seeing Yi's stupefied look, Yi Juetian hurriedly shouted out. Yay! Why didn't you tell me about these things before? Yi didn't understand. Why did I only find out about it now? I didn't say anything before. If I didn't appear today, would I have never found out about it? This fiancé was confirmed a long time ago. At that time, I still didn't know you. Do you know that I am serious towards you? Yi understood and immediately revealed a pure smile. And yay, I believe you. Yi, the situation right now is a bit complicated. Believe me, I will handle it well. Yi Juetian said gravely. I will definitely think of a way that satisfies both sides, and let mother and big brother accept Yi. And I will also work hard. Yay, you can be at ease. Yi, for your safety, I will pretend to be very cold. Don't take it to heart, understand? Yi Juetian was afraid that his big brother would act recklessly and hurt Yi. After hearing that, Yi remained silent for a while. Yay, I know, I can bear it. Yi, I have wronged you. Yi revealed a comforting smile. No, as long as I can see you every day, I can accept it. You fool, why are you so foolish? Yi Juetian felt very sad in his heart. Meeting a girl like Yi is truly my luck. Yi could be seen pouting her small mouth. I won't talk to Ye anymore, the female official has something to arrange. Yi, be careful. Alright, don't worry about me. Looking at the mirror turning black, Yi Juetian let out a heavy sigh, unable to calm down no matter what. Just what should I do now? Just what should I do to make Big Brother and Mother satisfied? Right now, Yi was currently listening to the female official talking about the big and small matters, and she seemed very serious. She felt that she definitely had to do well. Only then would she be able to receive the acknowledgement of Ye's family. However, when the surrounding palace maids saw Yi, they seemed to be a bit hostile. After all, Yi was too outstanding, and these palace maids were jealous of her. Who knows? This woman might become a phoenix one day. Yi did not notice this as she listened attentively. Yi, in the future, you will be responsible for the Empress Dowager's daily life. The female official was also a little envious of Yi. As long as a girl looked good, she would have an advantage. Indeed, as long as a girl was good-looking, no matter which plane she was in, she would be very popular. This was an unchanging law. Yes. Yi was delighted. She had heard from Ye that this Empress Dowager was Ye's mother. As long as he served Ye's mother well, she would definitely look at him in a new light. The daily work was quickly arranged, and from now on, Yi became Lu Jing's personal palace maid. Being with Daji would also make Daji feel more at ease. At that moment, Daji was also telling Yi about the things to pay attention to. Yi stood by the side and listened obediently. Lu Jing sat not far away. He felt that this girl called Yi was not bad, but if Yi was to be his daughter-in-law, Lu Jing would oppose it, because Yi's birth was too lowly, and the concept of a suitable match had long been deeply engraved in Lu Jing's heart. After all, the god's realm was like this. Yi, you have to remember what I am going to say next. You cannot be careless. Daji said solemnly. I will definitely remember it. Daji could be seen opening a box, and within it laid 6 small bottles. This is the Empress Dowager's daily necessities. Pour a bowl of clear water, then add a drop of spirit spring water, understand? Daji warned solemnly. This was not a joke, she had to be careful, after all, this concerned Lu Jing's life. I understand. Yi nodded her head. This was not hard to understand. She felt that her daily work was rather simple. It was not as complicated as she imagined it to be. Daji nodded her head. Go and do your work first. In the future, if I am not around, remember to give the spirit spring water to the Empress Dowager to drink. Yi said seriously. On the other side, Yihua also received news from Wei Chong. Things were going rather smoothly, and they had found quite a few candidates. Yihua also saw the image that was sent over. All of them had decent looks, and they were worthy of little Tian. Their strengths were decent too, and when necessary, they could even help little Tian. Ju Tian seemed to have found a few as well, and all of them were pretty decent. These 7 deadly sins' eyesight is truly sharp. As for those subordinates, forget about them. They are all rather ordinary women, and they are not worthy of my blood brother. I will just go and gather the materials, and when the time comes, I will be able to forge a rather unique legendary weapon. Right now, the 3 women sat together and chatted. The content of their chatting was naturally regarding Yi Juetian and Yi. I feel that this should be planned by Yihua alone. Qingya raised her opinion. After being husband and wife for so long, how could I not know Yihua's character? Donghuang Baiji nodded her head, agreeing with Qingya's suggestion. That's right. Actually, looking at it from another angle, it is already good that Yihua did not do anything excessive. However, for Yihua to bring Yi into the palace, it is most likely because he wants to see little Tian's attitude. That's right, this is the first time that little Tian met a girl that he likes, and he seems to have already fallen for her. Chen Yuqing said helplessly. What do you guys think Yihua's goal is? Donghuang Baiji had her own speculations, but she still wanted to hear everyone's opinion. When the time comes, I will help little Tian. What Yihua did is simply too excessive. How can he break up someone else? One would rather tear down a temple than tear down a marriage. Chen Yuqing said in a low voice, I feel that Yihua wants Yi to give up. Why? Qingya asked curiously. Because right now, little Tian has verbally rejected Yi, and thus, he has to act very cold. How can we girls endure such a feeling for a long period of time? Perhaps we might be able to endure it in the beginning, but after a long period of time, no one would feel good about it. Chen Yuqing had the most authority to speak. Just now, Yi Hua was already cold towards her, and that kind of feeling made her heart feel like it was going to split apart, and she even had the thought of not wanting to live anymore. The deeper the love, the deeper the hurt. Seems like we have to think of a way. Qingya knocked on the stone table with her index finger. This time, I must definitely help them. Lovers should be together. Why bother with so many backgrounds? What are you all sitting here for? Yi Hua walked over and asked faintly. Qingya laughed. It's nothing, we were just talking about the problem of children. Yuqing wants to have children. They are also discussing how to sleep with me. These three women are truly incredible. Let's talk about it after we settle little Tian's matter. Let's go to mother's place to eat first. There is a matter that I want little Tian to choose. Are we going to let little Tian choose a wife? Can we take a look first? Qingya said anxiously. Chapter 1079. Yi Hua said faintly, You all will know later, go and eat first. The three wives had no choice but to follow Yi Hua. However, just when Yi Hua walked into Lu Jing's bedroom, he heard a clear and melodious sound. Clang. Regardless of whether it was the palace maids inside or outside the room, they all went into a daze. What happened this time? Yi Hua wrinkled his brows and walked into the bedroom. Long live the emperor, may the empress be blessed. Yi Hua raised his hand, and before he even walked into the room, he heard an apology. Yi could be seen standing at a corner, and beneath her feet was a shattered vase. Lu Jing had a helpless look on her face, and even Daji had the same expression. This was already the third vase, and it seemed like all of the vases were going to be shattered. Daji, what's going on? Yi Hua asked gravely. Daji said respectfully, Master, when Yi was cleaning the vase, she accidentally broke it. I'm sorry, I really didn't do it on purpose, I'm just clumsy. Yi was about to cry from anxiousness. I wanted to do a good job, but I accidentally broke the vase. At this moment, Yi Juetian walked into the room, and he immediately saw Yi standing at the side. Yi looked very lonely, as if everyone in the room was targeting her. Looking at Yi's wronged look, Yi Juetian's expression didn't change, but his heart ached. Yi was indeed clumsy, but she was already working very hard to correct it. Yi looked at Yi Juetian. Although she knew what Yi Juetian meant, seeing that Yi Juetian didn't say anything, she still felt very sad. Clean up, Yi Hua said faintly. Not knowing why, when Yi Hua said this, the three wives and Yi Juetian let out a sigh of relief. They were afraid that Yi Hua would catch on to Yi's weakness and punish her. With little Tian watching from the side, it would be strange if Yi didn't die of sadness. Yi hurriedly squatted down to clean up the shattered vase, but she who was flustered ended up cutting her finger. However, Yi didn't say anything and hurriedly cleaned up. After that, she left the room and went to bring in the dishes. Right now, Yi Juetian was afraid of Yi carrying things. Everything about Yi was good, but she seemed to be naturally inflexible. Mother, I have already selected some women. Little Tian, take a look and see which one you are more satisfied with. Yi Hua waved his hand, and 5 women could be seen appearing on the table. It must be said that Yi Juetian had been properly arranged by Yi Hua, and there was no need for Yi Juetian to worry at all. It would be fine for Yi Juetian to just obediently stay at home and be the groom. Lu Jing waved her hands casually, and the 5 women began to spin. It was as if they were projections. They're all pretty good. Lu Jing smiled faintly. These women were all outstanding in terms of appearance, knowledge, and strength. Only such women were worthy of Lil Tian, and the children they gave birth to would definitely be outstanding. Qingya and the others also looked at the information of the 5 women. They were indeed very outstanding. All of them came from different planes, and some of them were even top-notch beauties in their planes. Yi Juetian looked at the 5 beauties in front of him and did not feel anything at all. His mind was filled with Yi, and he felt that Yi was 10,000 times better than them. If it was the Yi Juetian of the past, he would definitely say, I want them all. Perhaps Yi Hua might really give it to Lu Jing, and Lu Jing would definitely not reject it. More daughters-in-law, more children, and more branches and leaves for Yi family. At this moment, the palace maids carried the dishes over and lightly placed the dishes on the table. Afterward, they lowered their heads and left. Yi was the same as well. She carried a bowl of soup and slowly walked over. When she saw the figures of the 5 women, her footsteps paused. The soup was more or less full to begin with, and with Yi's pause, the soup began to flow out. The scalding soup flowed onto Yi's delicate hands. Ah! Yi couldn't help but shriek out, and her reflex loosened. Clang! Shattering sounds rang out again. The soup was all over the floor, and Yi's hands were scalded red. It was truly a tragic sight to behold. When Qingya and the others saw this, they didn't know what to say. Why is Yi so clumsy? Even Lu Jing, who was originally very satisfied, wrinkled her brows. As palace maids, Yi is truly too stupid. Yi Juetian was afraid that his big brother would say something, and he said gravely, "Hurry up and clean up." After finished speaking, Yi Juetian felt uncomfortable in his heart. Yi's heart turned cold, and her thin and weak body slowly squatted down and cleaned up the leftovers. Yi Hua still didn't say anything, and he asked faintly, "Little Tian, which of these 5 women do you like? They are all very outstanding. Didn't you say before that you were going to find many wives? How about you take these 5 women together?" Yi's fingers were cut again. Ye said that he was going to find many wives, but Ye clearly said that he would only want me in this lifetime. Just who should I trust? Yi Juetian laughed lightly. "Big brother, I was just joking in the past, you even took it seriously. If that's the case, then choose one first. The others, wait for me. If you want one, Big brother will arrange it for you," Yi Hua said lightly, appearing very dictatorial. Yi Juetian really wanted Yi to quickly leave, but Yi didn't hurry up and clean up at all, seemingly wanting to listen to what Yi Hua said. Yi Juetian could be seen casually picking one, then said with a smile, "Big brother, mother, I feel that this lady is pretty good. She looks very virtuous, and she is also an overlord. She is not married, and in her place, she is also from the #1 big family. Her name is also pretty good. Gong Yu." Lu Jing was very satisfied and said with a smile, "Little Tian, your eyesight is not bad. Mother also likes this lady Gong Yu. She has such achievements at such a young age, and she is very outstanding. She is well versed in zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Not bad, not bad." When Yi, who was cleaning up the leftovers, heard these words, her heart ached. "The others are so outstanding, and yet I am so clumsy. Yea, you told me to endure and I agreed, but I'm afraid that there will come a day where I won't be able to endure. My heart is in so much pain." Yi Hua smiled satisfactorily. "Since little Tian is satisfied, I will make the arrangements later. You two should meet each other first and chat about your feelings. After your feelings have stabilized, you two can get married and let mother be at ease. I will listen to big brother and mother's arrangements," Yi Juetian said respectfully. He didn't look at Yi, because if he were to turn his head and look at Yi, big brother would probably do something bad. Yi Hua notified Wei Chong and told him to bring Gong Yu over. Wei Chong told Wei Chong to wait for a moment, and Gong Yu was currently saying goodbye to her family. Although Gong Yu said that she was going to kidnap and threaten them, in actuality, she was trying to convince them with virtue. "The person that you are going to marry is the great overlord, my biological younger brother. Afterward, I will flaunt my strength a bit, and all kinds of people will become obedient." "Not obedient? Then, I will do it until they are obedient." Isn't this just being obedient? However, what Yi Hua said to his wife was that they were willing to marry her, and I, the supreme overlord, would never force a woman to become a prostitute. That is a lowly thing, and I, the supreme overlord, feel disdain to do it. After Yi finished cleaning up the leftovers, she left. And when Yi Juetian heard the sound of Yi leaving, he let out a breath of relief. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.